best in sports brings you the Chicago White Sox warm-up show.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey with the White Sox warm-up show, brought to you by the Tinderbox, Chicagoland's #1 tobacco stores, in 11 convenient shopping locations, and by Cal's Great Sandwich Restaurants in Chicken City, USA, with locations throughout Chicagoland, northern Indiana, and southeastern Wisconsin. This is our final baseball broadcast of the year, a magnificent day as the White Sox will be trying to make it 3 out of a row from the California Angels. First of all, our champion spark plug of the month is the shortstop of the Chicago White Sox, Harry Chappas. And Harry will receive a AM/FM radio in the shape of a champion spark plug, and we'll be talking to him following this message. Hello. Harry Carey back in Anaheim, our spark plug of the month for champion, as well as our guest on the pregame show is Harry Chappas. Harry, it's almost a month that you've been in the major leagues. I think you've proved to everybody that there isn't a play that you can't make.
I've been fortunate so far. I've been trying hard, and luckily everything's happened for me.
You know, it's so unusual for a fellow to come up in the minor leagues at a position like shortstop and not make a single error for a month.
Well, I've tried hard. That's, you know, I mean, I've been out there trying to do everything I can, and I've really concentrated hard this month.
Now that I've said all this and belabored the fact that you played so well, you'll probably go out there today and make 5 errors, right?
That's a possibility. You never know.
Harry, the play going to your right, and you really can't judge a shortstop until you've actually seen him make it. And I know a lot of baseball men were saying, well, I want to see him make that play. And then all of a sudden you have 3 or 4 of those plays. You made them like the greatest of shortstop.
Thanks a lot, Harry. Last night was a game where the balls were hit to my right, and as I was going for them, they just kept tailing away, and I wasn't able to make the play. It's one of those kind of plays. It's just something that you either get them or you don't. You know, you just swing out your hand and you get it and you throw, and if you get them out, that's great.
I think the thing that's impressed everybody is the fact that you range with equal ability both to the left and to the right.
Yeah, I worked hard really this year. Gordy Lund helped me out tremendously, and
and you were able to do it.
Yeah, I was able to do it, right.
And of course, the play when you go to your right, that you have to have the God-given talent of a strong arm. And this, I think, is what amazes a lot of people about you, that you throw that hard.
Well, I've been blessed. I've never lifted any weights, and I've just worked hard what I've done, and thank God, you know, that He gave me the strong arm.
Now, the only thing, I guess, that you want to really be concentrating on during the weeks and months ahead, and I know you're going to be doing it mentally as well as physically, thinking about your hitting, huh?
Oh, yeah. Like I told you earlier this year, I just got to concentrate on taking at a high pitch and trying to get on base any way I can, whether it's a walk or bunt or a infield ground ball or whatever it may be.
Harry, the thing about you, though, a lot of fellows who are guys who look for base on balls and so forth are really not strong hitters. But you're the kind of a guy who swings the bat well, and I guess it's difficult for you to take pitches because you're a hitter more than a taker.
Yeah, that's right. It's maybe sometimes one of my problems that I swing too much, but that's the way I've always been. You know, I've been successful thus far, and you know, that's the way I want it to be.
How do you feel now when you get up there and you hit the ball and you really sting it? You see that outfielder going back, you know. I bet the first thing that goes through your mind, that's a home run in Appleton, huh?
Yeah, no, in Wausau. It was about 312 on the right field line.
Yeah. But I mean, the point of it is that you do hit the ball with some force.
Well, yeah, once in a while I get a hold of one and sting it pretty well.
What are your plans now? What are you going to do? This is the final game of the season. Where do you go tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow I go to Chicago to pick up my stuff, and then after that I'll go home to Florida, hopefully spend a couple of weeks there, and then go to the Destruction League in Sarasota. Of
course, you being from Florida, it's very easy for you to actually work during the winter on the things you might want to work on, because you're going to have that kind of weather.
That's right.
What have you learned here in the big league so far? Now, you've been here a month. What is it? Anything about it that has surprised you?
you know, I really haven't thought about it. You know, since I've been here, I really haven't figured out what it's all about right now. You know, maybe when I go home, you know, I'll talk to myself and finally realize. But I've been trying to play as hard as I can and do the best I can, and hopefully, you know, next year it might pay off for me.
Maybe it's just as well things happen to you so quickly. You didn't have a chance really to think about the consequences of it.
That's right. That's true. Maybe that's why I did so well so far.
Yeah, and maybe this is the greatest thing that could have developed for you, that you broke in the way you did, where you come up here and right away they put you in a ball game and you don't have a chance to get frightened about it.
That's right.
Of what you've seen now, are the big league ball players better than you thought they'd be, or not as good?
Like I said, I didn't know what to expect when I got up here. You know, I just took it as it came, and there are some good ball players. You know, I mean, the minor league ball players, they try very hard because they try to get up here. You know, and I really didn't know what to expect.
Well, you certainly have done a marvelous job, young man, and I know it's just the beginning of a lot of great years that you're going to be having up here in the uniform of the Chicago White Sox. Thanks so much for being our guest. You've already been designated our champion spark plug of the month, and also as a token of our appreciation, a Zenith AM, FM, electronic digital clock radio with a unique billboard design, putting the clock up front for easy viewing, another Zenith quality product. Thank you again.
Thank you, Harry.
Good. Harry Chappis, the fine young shortstop of the White Sox, has been our guest. We'll be back now in a moment. From the Big A in Anaheim, California, it's Chicago White Sox baseball. White Sox baseball brought to you this afternoon by True Value Hardware Stores. It's more than just a name, it's their way of doing business. By Stroh's, from one beer lover to another, Stroh's. By First United Realtors, your Relo member in Wheaton. By Champion Spark Plugs, treat your car to a fresh set of champions. By Household Finance Corporation, where people use their money to get the most out of life. By Zenith, building quality home entertainment products for 60 years. By Clark Lift of Chicago, with 5 locations in the greater Chicago area. And by the Association of Chicagoland McDonald's Restaurants. McDonald's salutes the families of America. And by the folks at Chevrolet, along with Chevrolet dealers from coast to coast, who invite you to come on in and see a winning lineup of cars for 1979. Hi, and good afternoon, everybody. Lauren Brown, along with Harry Carey and Jimmy Pearsall from Anaheim, California, as the Chicago White Sox take on the California Angels in this, the final game of the 1978 campaign, and an opportunity for the White Sox to win the season series against the California Angels and end the season on a high note by winning 3 in a row out here in Anaheim. This is the 4th time here in the month of September that the White Sox have gone to the final game of the season against an opponent with the season series at stake. They were 7-7 against Minnesota and beat the Twins. 7-7 against Seattle, unfortunately got beat. 7-7 against Oakland and got beat. Now they have a chance at 7-7 to even it up, winning 2 series and dropping 2 series here in the month of September. In that effort, it'll be right-hander Francisco Barrios going for the Chicago White Sox, and Nolan Ryan, whom the White Sox KO'd here in the first game of the series Thursday night in 2/3 of an inning, coming back again today to pitch in order to try to push the Angels into second place in the American League West. They are in an identical tie with the Texas Rangers, who today, by the way, fired their fine field manager, Billy Hunter, in a surprise move by Brad Corbett, the owner of the Texas Rangers. But Texas is at Seattle. They lead their ball game right now by a score of 3-0 in the first. By the way, if you have not heard, it is all tied up in the American League East. The Yankees were upended by Rick Waits in Cleveland 9-2 today as they defeated Catfish Hunter, Thornton and Alexander cracking home runs, while Boston got another shutout, their 3rd in the last 4 ball games, as they defeated Toronto 5-0 behind Tion. Burleson and Rice hit home runs. So there'll be a playoff game tomorrow between the Red Sox and the Yankees, with the winner going to Kansas City for the American League playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody here at Anaheim has been asked to stand. This is Fan Appreciation Day, but also a special tribute to the slain right fielder of the California Angels, Lyman Bostock. Right now, the Angel players are all up and standing in front of the Angels dugout. I wonder if we can pick up the PA system.
I couldn't allow the season to slip by without expressing my gratitude to all Angel fans and to the members of the media for the warm and wonderful way you responded to Lyman during the trying times he encountered early this year. He deeply appreciated the many wishes and wires of encouragement, and I too wish to take this opportunity to thank all of you, most humbly and sincerely, for your kind expressions of sympathy. To California State University, Northridge, for establishing a baseball scholarship in honor of Allison's name. Most important, just for letting me know how much you care about life. Today is my appreciation day, and I want you to know how much I appreciate your thoughtfulness. This is Lyman Boston. Our national anthem will be sung this afternoon by Frank Mahoney and Rosa Hendo, accompanied by Shea North on the Angel Horn.
Anthem here at Anaheim, and we'll be back with Chicago White Sox baseball right after this message.
We love baseball in the summertime and football in the fall. Picnics, hot dogs, apple pie, how we love them all. And when it comes to driving throughout the USA, we love to get behind the wheel of our new Chevrolet. Come on in, America, come on in today. Come on in, America.
It's 1979 at your Chevy dealers, so come feast your eyes on a line of cars you just won't find the likes of anywhere else. Come drive the beautiful new Caprice Silver Classic. Come welcome a brand new Camaro called the Berlinetta. Come see the 79 Chevette, Monza, Monte Carlo, Malibu, Nova, and Corvette.
Come on in, America, see what's new today. Come on in, America, come to Chevrolet.
Lauren Brown back at Anaheim as Jim Fregosi, who we talked about yesterday, always having a jacket on at home plate, and in this California heat and bright sun, he is without his jacket this afternoon, exchanging the starting lineups with Chet Lemon, Chicago White Sox outfielder, who is representing the White Sox in the exchange of starting lineups, as Larry Doby has elected on the final game of the year to remain in the dugout. Here is how Larry Doby's lineup looks in the final game of the year. Ralph Garr leads it off in left. Greg Pryor will be at second base, batting second. Claudell Washington will hit third and be in center field. Eric Soderholm will bat cleanup and be at third base. Lamar Johnson will be the designated hitter. Bobby Molinaro will be in right field, batting in the sixth spot. Mike Squires will bat seventh and be at first base. Marv Foley will do the catching and bat eighth. And the spark plug of the month, Harry Chappas, will be at shortstop, and he'll bat ninth. On the mound, Francisco Barrios. He has won 9 and lost 14. For the White Sox, Rick Miller will lead it off in center. Ken Landreau will bat second and be in right field. Dave Lansford, or Carney Lansford rather, will be at third base, and he'll bat third. Don Baylor, who was just awarded the top honor of being voted the angel who truly exemplifies the qualities of inspirational leadership, sportsmanship, and professional ability, got that owner's award here today by the Angels, is the designated hitter batting cleanup. Joe Rudy will be in left field batting fifth. Ron Jackson at first base batting sixth. Brian Downing, who was awarded the Inspirational Player Award by his Angel teammates today, will be doing the catching, and he will bat sixth. Bobby Gritch will be at second base. He'll bat eighth. And Jim Anderson at shortstop batting ninth. Dave Chalk tore his cartilage last night and will undergo surgery tomorrow. On the mound, Nolan Ryan, coming into today's ball game against the White Sox, who knocked him out Thursday night. He's won 9 and lost 13. They knocked him out. 4 runs scored against him in the first, but he was not the pitcher a decision as the California Angels take the field. And as they do, we turn to our right, and stepping in to tell you all about it, the voice of the Chicago White Sox here in the final game of 1978 for the Southsiders. Here's Harry Carey.
Okay, Lauren, thank you very much. A beautiful afternoon again for baseball. And we have a playoff in the American League scheduled for tomorrow. It'll be Ron Guidry going for the Yankees, shooting for his 25th victory of the year. Mike Torres will pitch for the Red Sox. Now, Guidry, in his last 2 starts against the Red Sox, has shut them out 18 innings on a total of 4 hits. So, I would imagine, and in spite of Fenway Park, the Yankees will be a favorite because of Guidry. But don't shortchange that Mike Torres, a tremendously competitive pitcher. Remember, he's the guy that did it all in the clutch for the Yankees a year ago.
Boy, Harry, I got to believe that the people watching that game might be more than any televised World Series game this year, because that is going to be an exciting game tomorrow.
Well, all the marbles are on the line tomorrow, and of course, fans go for a situation like that. Ralph Gore will be leading it off. The contingent from Chicago, led by Billy Burke in a cheer down there. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Yeah, Billy Burke ought to be in perfect shape the way she's been running up and down leading those cheers.
I don't know where she bought those tambourines, but she is really out there whacking them.
Talk to Larry Doby, this being the final game of the year, as to whether he's be back as manager or whether there's been any discussion about it. He said he had nothing to say. And I imagine it is yet to be decided, apparently. Here's Ralph Gore. Billy Hunter was fired. Boy, I thought he just signed a contract the other day.
Yeah, he turned down a 3-year contract because he wanted to work year to year. He was working week to week.
Boy, a fine manager to be let loose. Here's the pitch to Gore now, and it's high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Billy Hunter, on a couple of interviews, I've had him tell the story a few times how when Bill Beck owned the Browns and he purchased Billy Hunter, here's the pitch. Swung to the curve, and Gore misses it. And finally made a deal because he didn't have enough money with Hunter after acquiring his services. And according to Billy Hunter, Bill Beck still owes him $1,000. Ralph Gore waiting. A ball and a strike. Here's the pitch. High pop. Foul into the left field corner. Rudy chasing it. He's there. Makes the catch. Joe Rudy takes care of Gore's foul ball. 1 out. That will bring up Greg Pryor hitting number 2 today.
Harry, when you want a left fielder that knows left field and what's going on, Rudy certainly does. He came a long way for that ball and then run the third baseman off in plenty of time to make the catch easy. But he knows what he's doing out there, and he knows left field. There isn't an outfield position out there that anybody can say, hey, that's an easy place to play. You have to learn it and play it well, and Rudy certainly does.
So with 1 away, here's Pryor hitting .264. Our final baseball broadcast of the season. Been a long year. Here's a fastball high and outside. White Sox didn't have the success we all were hopeful they'd have when the season started. There's a strike call, Nolan Ryan. With a good fastball, and the count is even up. Ryan has had a bad year. He's won only 9 ball games, lost 13. Here's the line, the pitch. Slider over the outside corner. Strike 2 call. He's in the hole, 2 strikes and a ball. It's hard to tell the digits on the scoreboard because of the glare of the sun. They really stand out at night, but now with the bright sun shining on the scoreboard, it's pretty difficult to make it out. Now the pitch, here it is. A little tap. Back to the mound. Got a chance to beat it out. The throw in time. Nolan Ryan throws out Fryer. You're gone.
You know, if anybody else feels that ball like he did, taking plenty of time, they would never throw him out because Ryan threw a bullet to first base to just get him.
Ryan Downing, the catcher of the Angels, was voted by his players the most inspirational man of the club, and Don Baylor, the best ball player.
I got that most inspirational one year and got released.
I'm just looking. Brad Downing at home hit .239 with 2 homers and 18 runs batted in this year. On the road, he hit .270 with 5 homers and 28 RBI. For the year, he hit .256 with 7 homers and 46 RBI. Here's the pitch. Throws his bat as he misses the ball. Tony La Russa had to duck out of the way. Cardell Washington really had a cut. Cardell's ankle is still bothering him, and it's heavily taped before every game.
Last night, he hit a triple off the wall when it got by the right fielder and just hustled around, ran pretty good. Then he hit a home run, a line shot over the right field fence. So he pulled the ball well last night, and that particular time there, that bat went quick. So I think he's trying to be a little quicker with his hands.
A ball and a strike to count. 2-minute out. Cleveland beat the Yankees. The Red Sox beat Toronto. It's a tie. Playoff tomorrow. Here's a curve outside. 2 balls and a strike. Cardell Washington batting .255. 6 homers, 33 runs batted in. Now the pitch. Swung, and he fouled it back. I tell you what could happen, Jimmy. Now it could pour down rain in Boston tomorrow. That'll set everything back. What if we have a couple of days of rain? They can't decide the American League pennant until those 2 teams play.
I hope it doesn't happen, but they'll try to get that game in until midnight.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the windup. Here's the pitch on the way. High, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Philadelphia defeated Baltimore 17-14. That's the final score. Cleveland, football. And Cleveland 23. Well, it's Atlanta 23. The New York Giants 20. Boy, Atlanta came from behind to win that ball game.
2-minute out, nobody on. Cardell Washington, the batter. Now the windup. Here's the pitch. Ball inside. He walked him. And that'll bring up Eric Sauter, who's really been finishing up strong. The next White Sox game at Comiskey Park will be April the 10th, 1979.
At what time?
It'll be at 1:15. And reserve and season tickets are now available. Just call 924-1000. Anytime, tomorrow, or any day during the week. Soderholm, the batter. Well, I tell you, there's a lot of newsworthy things involving the White Sox. Will Doby continue to be the manager? If not, who? What are they going to do with some of these veterans who quite obviously don't fit into their plans?
You know, when you see Chappis and Coburn, you got to believe, and also Bell, that this team has got to be better next year.
Now the stretch. There goes the runner. The pitch swung, and he fouled it back. Cardell Washington, one of the fastest men in baseball, even with a heavily taped ankle.
not only the young players that we have on this team, Harry, but Lemon playing a full season has got to help our ball club, because it just seemed like our outfield was not the same. The communication wasn't good. The year before, he had 512 putouts, and of course, that's a lot of putouts.
Here's the stretch, the pitch. Swung, and he struck him out. Soderholm chased a high fastball. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left. We go now to the bottom of the first, no score.
Down, 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 down. Under your hood, if it's running good, there's a motor in the place where the motor goes. And in the motor there's 4, 6, or 8 little holes where something that's called a spark plug goes. And that's what makes the motor run good under the hood. If the plugs you use are champions. Cause champions do what you want to do. When you turn on the key, they're waiting on you. So if you've got 4, 6, or 8 little holes where the spark plug goes, can't buy a better plug than champions. We got a plug for any kind of car. You can't buy a better plug no matter where you are. So if you got 4, 6, or 8 little holes where the spark plug goes, you can't buy a better plug than champions. Now. Of course, champions do what you want them to do. Give you better mileage and performance too. So if you've got 4, 6, or 8 little holes where the spark plug goes, you can't buy a better plug than champions. You can't buy a better plug than champions.
Harry Caray with Lauren Brown and Jimmy Pearsall. We're going on to the bottom of the first. Francisco Barrios, who, like Nolan Ryan, has had a bad year. He's won 9, lost 14. But Ryan had a much stronger ball club behind him and still won only 9 and lost 13. Johnny McNamara, veteran baseball man and great little guy, coaching at third base. He's going to manage a team in the Dominican, just as is Tony La Russa, coach of the White Sox. So there'll be rival managers down there. White Sox have their own Johnny McNamara, head of the visiting team clubhouse, along with Mike Morris, who heads the home team clubhouse on this trip. Here's some football scores. Atlanta defeated the Giants 23-20 in an upset. Buffalo beat Kansas City 28-13. Pittsburgh over the New York Jets 28-17. The St. Louis Football Cardinals are now 0-5 under their new coach, Bud Wilkinson. Miami beat them 24-10. New England spoiled Don Coryell's debut as coach of the San Diego Chargers, beating him 28-23. Minnesota over Tampa Bay 24-7. Green Bay murdered Detroit's Lions 35-14. And the Rams eked a 26-20 win over the New Orleans Saints. Philadelphia Eagles beat Baltimore's Colts 17-14. And Oakland leading the Bears in the second quarter 6-3. A battle of field goal. Rick Miller leading it off. Our final broadcast of the year. Now the windup. Here's the pitch on the way. And the fastball a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. The Angels could finish third. If the White Sox win this game, and if Texas wins its game, the Angels will finish in third place. They're trying to finish second, which is the highest an Angel team has ever finished. And they're trying for their 87th victory. There's a pitch smash up the middle. Diving attempt by Pryor. It's a base hit. Miller ripped one up the middle, and Greg Pryor made a diving stop. Got his glove on the ball, but deflected it into center field.
Pryor had to dive so far for the ball that when he didn't get it, he just pushed it over towards left center field, and Washington really hustled to keep him from going for a double. Miller took a long turn at first and had to go back.
Saul with a runner at first base. There's Ken Landreau hitting .223 from Arizona State University. The pitch. Fastball outside, ball one. Big crowd on hand. This is a Fan Appreciation Day. And it looks like about 30,000, 35,000 here. Now to stretch the pitch. Swung on a high fly ball to center field. Claudell Washington trotting in. Makes the catch. One out.
Sun awfully bright in the outfield. Not too bad in center. Washington is not wearing his glasses, but left field Gar has got his glasses on, and the right fielder also has his glasses on, Molinaro.
Hey, Spivey of the Bears blocked a field goal attempt by Oakland and ran 73 yards for a touchdown, giving the Bears a 9-6 lead at the half. Here's Lansford now. The pitch swung on, line drive, left field, base hit. Here's Miller trying for third, the throw. He stops and dives back into second.
Gar with good hustle over towards left center, came up throwing in a hurry. Miller, who rounded the bag a long way, decided I better not go, and he turned around. As Harry said, he had to dive back into the bag. So a lot of excitement already here in the first inning.
There's Don Baylor, needs one RBI to make it 100. He's never done that in his life. He's had his all-time banner season. Runners at first and second. One out. Here's the pitch. Change of pace. Curveball low. Outside. Baylor, in only 1 year in his career, that was at Rochester, drove in 107 runs with 22 homers.
Molinaro is way over in almost center field, giving him plenty of the line.
There's a slow ball again, high. 2 balls, no strikes. Boy, I tell you, that wasn't very deceptive.
Harry, I haven't seen that pitch so very much from Barrios, but if he throws it again, I hope he gets it on the ground.
2 balls, no strikes. That was like sending a Western Union telegram. Hey, Baylor, I'm going to throw you a off-speed pitch. Get ready.
You don't ever want to let a hitter be able to double hitch, because when he can, especially as powerful as Baylor is, he'll hit it downtown. He can furnish all the power you need to hit the ball out of here.
Runners at first and second. One out. Francisco Barrios is ready. The pitch. Strike at the knees. A good fastball. 2 balls and a strike. He had some mustard on that one. And that's Barrios' bread and butter right there. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch by the right-hander. Swung on. High fly ball. Right field ought to be caught. Molinaro's there, and he has it. Here's Miller. Starting for third, changing his mind, and little Harry Chappis cuts the throw off.
Hey, I think you hit it right on the head when you said if Barrios is going to win ball games, it's got to be with that good fastball. Moving it around the strike zone like he did when he won 4 in a row and he struck out 9 in Kansas City. Then all of a sudden he goes back to that wanting to pick away at the corners with slow changing pitches.
So there are 2 out. Here's Joe Rudy. Well, you talk about a fellow who probably would have a lot of trading value. I would imagine Barrios might be right up near the top.
Well, he's got that major league arm, and certainly he should develop any time. Now, I figured this year he was going to win 15 or 20.
Now the pitch. High fastball to Joe Rudy. Rudy hitting .254. 17 homers, 78 runs batted in. A red-hot day again in Anaheim. Now Barrios gets set. Ron Jackson in the on-deck circle. Now the delivery, here it is. He threw the fastball by him.
Right by him, and it's tough to pick up now. There's some shadows out there in that outfield. And boy, when he comes sidearm and gets it outside, right-handers will have trouble picking him up.
They have a great big screen out there beyond the center field wall as a hitter's background. There are no stands out there, but there will be next season. A ball on a strike. The pitch. There's a hit for center field. Here's a run to score. The other man stops at second base. 1-0 in favor of the Angels. Rudy busted his bat. He hit that ball right on the fist. But he was strong enough to line it into center field.
Got to be disheartening to a pitcher when he makes a perfect pitch, breaks the guy's bat, and he hits it where he can't get a hold of it. It was a semi-line drive that anywhere else they would have caught it.
Here's Ron Jackson now hitting .295. 5 homers, 56 runs batted in. Ball game of the first. 1-0 in favor of the Angels. Big crowd on hand. Now the stretch, the pitch. Swung a high pop fly. Down the line in right field. Might be a tough play in foul territory. Squires makes the catch. Jackson fouled to Squire. 1 run, 3 hits. No errors, 2 left. At the end of 1, the Angels won, the White Sox nothing.
Maybe you can't count on the weather, but you can count on an accurate weather report instantly, 24 hours a day, with a GE Instant Weather AM/FM portable radio from your True Value hardware stores. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you the GE Instant Weather portable radio lets you hear a continuous weather broadcast at a flick of a switch, or listen to your favorite FM or AM station. True Value hardware stores also offer the GE portable AM/FM radio with a 3.5-inch dynamic speaker plus a telescoping antenna for easy listening. Both GE radios run on house current or with optional batteries, so you can use them at home or away. And you'll find both the General Electric AM/FM portable and the AM/FM portable radio with instant weather feature at participating True Value hardware stores.
True Value Hardware is more than just a name. It's a way of doing business that feels True Value.
Harry Caray back at the ballpark. We're going on the top of the second inning. 1-0 in favor of Nolan Ryan and the Angels.
On the field.
Here's some of the other baseball scores now to wrap it up. The Cleveland Indians walloped the New York Yankees 9-2. Rick Waits, the winner, his 13th victory of the season. Andre Thornton hit number 33, and Gary Alexander hit number 27 for the Indians. 9-2. As close to 40,000 looked on, hoping to see the Yankees clinch the division title, only to see them forced now into a playoff game tomorrow afternoon at Boston. Meanwhile, the Red Sox, with Burleson and Rice hitting homers, the 46th for Jim Rice. Beat Toronto 5-0. Louis Tiant, the winner. They had 29,000 at Fenway Park. Kansas City shut out Minnesota 1-0. Gura and a rookie Throop combined to pitch a 2-hitter. Here's Lamar Johnson taking a strike in their call. John and Susan Conley, relatives of our good friend Emmett O'Neill back in Chicago, are watching the game here. Pulling for the White Sox. And they sent up a nice 6-pack of Stroh's beers they brought out all the way out here, especially for us. Lamar Johnson hitting .272. Here's the pitch, curve in the strike call. That evens the count at 2-2.
Hey, when you see Ryan with a record of 141 wins and 132 losses with a 3.06, and this year his ERA is 3.79, you know he's not having a good year.
Here's ball 3 outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lamar Johnson leading it off 1-0 in favor of the Angels. This is the 15th and decisive game in the head-to-head competition between the two teams. Here's outside, ball 4, he walked him. Lamar Johnson is on. Here's Bobby Molinaro, who drove in the winning run last night. Boy, if the White Sox could have played Texas and California and Kansas City all year, they certainly would have finished much better than they're going to. They're 11-4 against Texas, 8-7 against the defending champion Kansas City, and they'll be either 7-8 or 8-7 against California. So the top three teams in the league, they have played better than .500 baseball against. Here's a pitch to Molinaro, sinking fastball is low, ball one.
I think the Yankees in Baltimore just made it unbearable for us by the way they beat us.
Squires on deck. Here's the pitch. Line drive to Grich for one out over to first base. Wild throw into the dugout, and Lamar Johnson will be awarded second base, and error on Grich. Molinaro lined hard to Bobby Grich, who trying for the double play. Threw the ball into the dugout, and they sent him all the way around to third base.
I'd like to try to figure out the ruling on that. He was going back to the bag.
Well, it's a ground rule ruling. It's something that they've already established in advance.
Would he get the bag you were going to?
You throw the ball into the dugout, you get two bases.
I see. Because he was diving back into first base, and the reason he threw it wild, he didn't want to hit Lamar on the head. He tried to avoid him, and he threw it bad.
So now there's a runner, the tying run at third, only one out. The infield playing back. And here's Mike Squires hitting .279. Now to wind up the pitch. Fastball in there, strike call. One strike to nothing. You know, here's the pitch. Wide, a fastball. You know, I've mentioned several times about it wouldn't be a bad idea to stick a first baseman's glove on Nordhagen. And I say that not to demean anybody else, but I think what the White Sox lack is Nordhagen's type of hitter in the lineup. Here's a pitch swung on, a high fly, that'll score the tying run. Rudy getting under the ball, there's the catch. Here's Lamar Johnson scoring easily. 1-1 tie. Sacrifice fly by Squires. So the White Sox have tied it up. And here's Foley. Now, we know that Nordhagen could hit the ball farther than anybody else we got on his ball club. I mean, for sheer power. We know he's a very, very good hitter against left-handed pitching. But we haven't seen him against right-handed pitching to honestly be able to say that he can't hit them as well as he does the left-handers. Now, with all the kind of singles hitters that this club figures to have, looking with guys like Squires and Foley and Chappis and Pryor, if they're going to make your club, they're going to be singles hitters. They're going to have a single and a double now and then, but they're not going to hit the ball out of the park. Here's a pitch outside. So assuming that that's the kind of ball club you're going to put together with speed and fine pitching, how much better off it is to have one guy in that lineup who might be able to break the game wide open with a swing. Because you can't always get that single either when you want it.
You know, just my opinion, Harry, too, but when you put a guy down at first base, your defense has to be good, because that's what we need to make our pitching better, too. And to put a guy out there...
Here's a curve low to Foley. Mark Foley hitting .387.
That has to learn that position from the beginning. Maybe it'll come natural to him, and I don't think it would be wrong to try it in spring training or the instructional league. It might be worth the try, because we do need the power in there, but you've got to be very careful.
Hey, swings and he missed a fastball.
That you just don't stick him there during the season when he doesn't know how to play it.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1-1 tie. We're in the top of the second. Nice breeze just beginning to stir itself. Here's the pitch. He walked in, ball 4. That's a third walk given up by Ryan.
There's so many things to enjoy in Southern California that if you've never been out here, just come and you'll find them. They are all over, whether it's the beaches, the Disneyland, Marineland, or anything you like to enjoy, they have it out here.
It is a great, it's like an entirely different world out here. It's the only place, I think, where you forget about all the things back home. Here's a pitch swung on by Chiapas. On the first pitch, a high pop fly, and Joe Rudy comes running in to make the catch. Chiapas again swung at the first pitch, and the kid's going to have to learn not to do that. So, it is 1 run without a hit. 1 costly error, and 1 left. We go into the bottom of the second, all tied up 1-1.
6 seconds showing on the clock. Here's the snap. Kowalski fades, throws, touchdown. Hi, this is Kurt Gowdy for your Clark lift truck dealer. In the early days of football, it wasn't uncommon to see as many as 20, even 25 players on a side. Finally, in 1880, the great Walter Camp changed the rules of football and set a new standard with the 11-man team. Today, Clark has doubled its warranty protection and set a new standard for customer protection. Now all new Clark models are completely covered for 6 months or 1,000 hours of operation with several components guaranteed for a full year. Talk about the new double warranty protection with your Clark dealer and tell him Gowdy sent you.
Talk to your Clark Lift of Chicago dealer in Rosemont, where lift truck service is the name of the game. That's Clark Lift of Chicago, the lift truck people.
Excuse me, Ma.
Yes.
Is that your hand in my McDonald's world famous French fries?
No, that's my brother's hand. I'm all thumbs.
You've got that?
You better watch your
Would you mind removing your hand, please?
I can't. It's attached to my arm. That's my brother. And these are my thumbs.
These are my thighs.
Keep your eyes on your fries.
The fastest French fry filter in the West. Watch this. Didn't see it, did you?
They're too hard to resist.
Goes to show the hand is quicker than the fry.
Wait a minute.
Time out.
Keep your eyes on your fries.
They're almost all gone now.
Almost. Getting slow, bud. Oh, I'm slipping.
There's no fries taste like this.
Good try.
At McDonald's.
I'm sure they were.
We do it all for you.
Harry Carey with Lauren Brown and Jimmy Pearsall. We're going down to the bottom of the second inning, all tied up at 1. Here's Brian Downing, who got an award as the most inspirational player of the Angels. Downing hitting .256. He's driven in 46 runs. First pitch to him is low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Now the delivery a little bit low. Downing has drawn 50 bases on balls. Struck out 47 times. 2 balls, no strikes. The delivery, here it is. High, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes.
Harry, sorry to hear about Dave Chalk, who's going to be operated on tomorrow morning for his right knee. Hurt a cartilage when he was feeling that ground ball.
What a freak accident.
Boy.
Ball 4 to Downing is low and outside.
I meant to ask him what happened. I don't know whether he tripped off over the edge of that infield and couldn't get his footing and then lost everything and tore his knee.
We'll be operated on tomorrow. Here's Bobby Grich hitting .249. Runner at first base, nobody out.
Happened. I don't know whether he tripped off over the edge of that infield and couldn't get his footing and then lost everything and tore his knee.
We'll be operated on tomorrow. Here's Bobby Grich hitting .249. Runner at first base, nobody out. Now Barrios throws over to first base, the runner back. Well, there ought to be a red-hot winter this season. A lot of things apparently are going to happen. Here's a throw to first, the runner back. A 1-game playoff for the American League East tomorrow. And I'll tell you, one team will really be pulling for the Red Sox. Here's a pitch. High called to Bobby Grich. And that will be the Kansas City Royals. I think they're convinced they can't beat the Yankees. Whereas they handled Boston pretty well. Of course, there'll be one difference. Now the stretch. A lot of people thought that Whitey Herzog might have militated against his own winning last year by trying to outmanage Billy Martin. Here's a stretch to pitch. Inside and high. He won't have to worry about Billy Martin this year.
In that ninth inning, you figure he had it last year, and then everything happened. Every pitcher he changed was the wrong pitcher.
Those are the same moves you've been making all year, though, and those are the moves that won for him, but this time they failed. That's baseball. Here's a throw over to first. Runner back. 1-1 tie.
That's the kind of baseball that gets some managers fired.
Now to stretch the hesitation to pitch. Half swing, a little pop fly. It's going foul. Boy, that was a half swing by Bobby Grich, and he almost wound up with an extra base hit. Fortunately, it looped foul down the first base line. 2 strikes and a ball. Well, to all the gang back at the studio, as well as our engineer here, who originates our baseball broadcast, all the staff announcers and the pretty girls who play the music at night. Our appreciation for their cooperation. For all the salesmen and executives of the station, starting with Bert Sherwood. Here's the pitch, and it's a curveball low and outside. All good things must come to an end, and so does a baseball season. Probably wake up tomorrow and head for the ballpark thinking we got a game. You don't believe that, do you? Here's a pitch outside. Ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Hozak and I will be at the ballpark at Comiskey Park about 5 in the morning, getting our gear and going home.
Stop in at the Carter Saloon on your way.
I hope you don't have to get a cab.
Get your heart pumping.
You have to get Hozak poured off the plane.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Now to stretch. Here's the pitch. There goes the runner. Swung on a long drive, but it's going foul into the right field corner. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, one guy who's looking, I'm sure, to the winner here with great satisfaction has to be Jim Fregosi. He started this season as a utility ball player, just holding on. He winds up as the manager of the Angels, something that's always been a dream of his from the day he broke in as an 18-year-old rookie.
You know, a lot of managers don't like to go to the playoffs in the World Series. He's looking forward to it. It's going to be quite an experience for him, and he is really up for it.
Now to stretch the pitch. There goes the runner. Swung on. A high pop foul. Coming back. Foley will have no play. Could not get to it. It was in about the 3rd row. 3 balls, 2 strikes. I would imagine another guy, whether he's a participant or a spectator who's going to look forward to this one, will be Bob Lemon. Three balls, 2 strikes.
You know, it's funny, loving Mrs. Yawkey like I do, and then wanting to see the Yankees win for coming back 14 games and a half.
Here's ball 4 inside, excuse me.
You just don't know who to pick.
Those runners on at first and second. If the Yankees win the East, I pick them to win the American League pennant. And I look for the Dodgers to upset them because I think the Dodgers will win the National League. If the Red Sox win, I pick Kansas City. And then I'm not too sure because the Dodgers haven't played against Kansas City and vice versa.
Playing against the Yankees in Boston for many years, if the wind's blowing a little bit to right, I'll pick the Yankees. They got that left-handed power.
Here's a bunt. I mean, I have a play at third. He's out. Barrios came off the mound nicely. Fielded the ball on the run while going towards the third baseline. Had a whirl completely around, and he kicked himself in the ankle, but he threw perfectly to solder home for the out. One gone. Here's Rick Miller. Jim Anderson, the young shortstop, trying to sacrifice Forrest Downing at third.
If you had to pick the 2 best fielders on the ball club, I guess you'd have to say Steve Stone and Barrios. Steve really will go at it harder than Barrios, but Barrios just knows what to do. He's a good fielder, and that time he made the pivot and threw a strike.
Doby comes out to see if he's hurt. He says he's okay. And that will bring up Rick Miller, who's single to center his first time up. 1-1 tie, the ball game in the bottom of the second. Beautiful afternoon here in Southern California.
Luciano is one umpire that really has fun. That time with Larry Doby, he walked all the way back to near the dugout telling stories, and he walked back laughing behind the plate.
One man out, runners at first and second. The ball game in the bottom of the second inning, tied up 1-1. Now the stretch by Barrios. Here's a pitch. Double play ball to the second baseman. To the shortstop for one, over the first two. That was a low line drive hit like a bullet. And Pryor smothered it against his chest. Backhanded the ball to Chapas, who streaked across the bag and fired a perfect throw to complete the double play. Boy, that little guy really makes that double play beautifully. So, at the end of two, it remains tied 1-1.
People use our money to get the most out of life.
Harry Caray back in the ballpark. We're going on to the top of the third inning. Tied up 1-1.
Left fielder, Ron Carr.
John and Suzanne Conley out of Detroit. Watching the ball game here. Related to Emmett O'Neill, our good friend from Lee King and Partners. Here we go with Gar leading it off. The pitch swung on, line drive right to the center fielder. Rick Miller waiting in the end. One away. That'll bring up Greg Pryor. The White Sox open the season with a victory over the Boston Red Sox, coming from behind with two on the bottom of the ninth to thrill an opening day crowd at Comiskey Park. They'd like to end the season with a sweet taste in the mouth also. There were 50,754 who paid to see the first game of the season. And the White Sox went on to compile a fine attendance mark of almost 1.5 million. Here's a pitch to Pryor, and it's a curveball in there for a strike call. A ball and a strike. Pryor tapped out his first time. I imagine it's red hot down on that field. Here's a pitch. Swung on, a bouncing ball foul. Bobby Knopp coaching at third base. Tony La Russa at first. A lot of speculation in the papers a few weeks ago about Knopp coming to the Angels, but he denies that there's been any contact. All he knows, he's coach of the White Sox. Here's a pitch. Swung on and foul back. And Knopp, being a loyal type of guy, and there's too few of those left anymore, I'm sure if Bill Beck wanted him to stay with the White Sox, he would stay, even though I know he probably love to be out here in Southern California where he lives. Here's a pitch, high and outside, and where he played alongside Jim Fregosi for so many years. And they're the closest of friends. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the pitch, here it is. Foul tip. You know, I saw Bobby Winkles today, and boy, he looks marvelous. And I was kidding him about getting himself lost for the whole season. You know what? Now, here he is. Naturally, he wants to be back in baseball. He wants to manage. He knows there's going to be some jobs open. But he cannot talk to anybody until November the 15th. Charlie Finley is holding him to his contract until that date, which means a lot of clubs will have already made selections.
I thought he quit.
Yeah, but he had a contract.
Just means
here's a pitch strike call.
I mean, he doesn't get paid, Harry, and he still has to abide by that November 15th?
Apparently, he says He said he wasn't getting any money, but that he could not talk to anybody until November the 15th. Because that, I suppose, would constitute a violation of the contract on his part, and legal action could affect him, whereas apparently legal action, there's so much of it, cannot affect Charlie Finley. So there's 2 out, and here's Claudell Washington, and the pitch is low. 1-1 tie. Ball game in the 3rd. I wonder whatever happened about that group from Oakland that was supposed to be buying the ball club from Finley.
They had a rubber check.
They must never arrived in Chicago, because never heard anything more about it.
I'd like to have gotten these San Francisco papers.
I asked the San Francisco announcers, and they said there was nothing in the papers at all about it.
A ball and a strike. 2 men are out. Here's the pitch. Swung, and he missed. 2 strikes and a ball. We're in the 3rd. Tied up 1-1. Out of sign. Here's the pitch. Swings and he fouls it back into the upper deck. Claudell Washington walked his first time. He's hitting .255. Final score, the Rams 26. The Saints 20. The Rams will be playing here in Anaheim starting next season. 2 strikes and nothing.
Minnesota's threatened to come here if they don't fix that stadium in Minnesota.
Now the pitch. No, they're threatening to go to the Coliseum in Los Angeles where the Rams are playing now.
Yes, I mean.
2 men are out. Left-hand hitter waiting. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Hey, struck him out. He got around late on a fastball. 1, 2, 3. They go to the bottom of the 3rd, tied up 1-1. Seattle now. No, I don't think it is. Here's Ken Landreau. Landreau hitting .223. 5 homers, 23 runs batted in.
I think all the scouts are home right now, Harry. I think they have done their job and got their reports in.
Out of sign. Landreau out of Arizona State to pitch. Curveball in there for a strike call.
Harry,
strike to nothing.
Ken Kravick is in the bullpen today, and he's been warming up the last inning and a half. I don't know, because he hasn't relieved it all in his career that I can recall in the major leagues. He's just getting himself ready about 20 minutes beforehand if needed.
Here's a curveball swung on and missed. It's 2 strikes and nothing.
You wouldn't want him to hurt himself either. He's too valuable to be worried about being a reliever.
Here's a fastball that barely missed low and inside. 2 strikes and a ball. Ball game at the bottom of the 3rd. Now Barrios delivers. Swung on. A long drive left center. Gar going over. Should catch it, and he does. Landreau flied out to Gar in left center. 1 away. That'll bring up Carney Lansford.
I think Gar plays the outfield in this ballpark better than any outfield he's ever played. It just seems like he picks up the ball better. He's got more confident running near the fences, and he throws the ball well. So you wonder why sometimes a ball player has his problems, but he likes it here.
1 out, nobody on. There's a pitch foul back into the stands. Well, it's pretty difficult to bring your own ballpark along, though.
Well.
And there just happen a few other fields you have to play it.
It's just, if you hit that tennis elbow of mine one more time today, Coach.
Did I hit you on the elbow?
Oh, boy.
Tough guy like you.
I had that shot. Bring it to your knees.
1 strike to nothing. The pitch. Curveball a little bit outside. Why don't you trade seats with Lauren?
No, I don't want to trade
because instinctively I nudge somebody. So many things happen here in the stands. Now to wind up the pitch, here it is. And the curveball is in there for a strike call. 1 out. It's a beautiful place to watch a baseball game.
I meant to tell you, Harry, you're a very bad nudger.
2 strikes and nothing. 1 man out. Now the delivery. Change of pace foul. 2 strikes and the ball, and no ball. 1 out. We're in the 3rd. The Bears are playing Oakland, and the Bears are leading 9-6 going into the second half. Francisco Barrios trying for his 10th victory of the year. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 call. That was a slider over the outside corner, and Lansford is really arguing about that.
You know what he's saying to him, Harry? I know you're in a hurry. It's the last game of the season. You got to date it somewhere down in San Diego, but that ball wasn't a strike.
What he is saying was that wasn't so funny, what you just called.
Luciano, by the way, is going to work the American League playoffs. I don't know if he's got to go to Boston or not tomorrow to work that final game between the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Here's the pitch swung on by Baylor, and he fouls it down the third baseline.
Barrios is working on a changeup breaking ball. I wish he'd forget it.
1 strike and nothing, 2-men are out. Ball game in the 3rd inning, 1-1 tie. White Sox would like to end the season winning 3 out of 4 from the Angels. Now the delivery. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a fly ball, left center field will be caught. Claudell Washington waiting, and he has it. So it's 1-2-3, nothing across. At the end of 3 innings, we're tied at 1.
From the weekend.
Chicago.
Harry Caray back at Anaheim. We go into the top of the 4th, and moving in to tell you all about it, here's Lauren Brown.
All right, Harry, Eric Soderholm takes a strike on the outside corner after taking the first pitch for a strike. He's in the hole 0-2. Nolan Ryan has not given up a hit here. The White Sox have scored a run on a walk in air and a sacrifice fly. Here's the pitch up high, a ball, 1-2. Soderholm will be followed by Lamar Johnson and Bob Molinaro. Eric, a strikeout victim his first time up. Following the game, we'll have our final hot corner show of the year. Here's the pitch, and it's low, away, a ball. And you guessed it, we're going to have another poem. Eric has written one specially in commemoration of the 1978 campaign. Here's the pitch, called strike 3 in the outside corner, struck him out. 3 strikeouts in a row for Ryan, 4 for the ball game. Soderholm not too happy. Not too many people have been happy here today, Jimmy.
Well, I just
on the balls and strikes by Mr. Luciano.
It's the last day of the season, and he want to get it over.
Well, he can't. He's got to work the playoffs, as I mentioned. He's going to be around for another week. So the batter, Lamar Johnson, walked to lead off the second, advanced to third on an error by Bobby Grich, and then came home on sacrifice fly by Squires, which at that time tied the ball game. Here's the pitch, up high, a ball. The Angels jumped out in front of the first on a single by Miller. With 1 out, Lansford singled him to second, and with 2 out, Joe Rudy singled him home. Right-hander delivers, and it's a strike. You're in tune with WMAQ Radio, Chicago, Illinois.
If anybody's wondering about Ryan's arm and his physical conditioning, he is in excellent shape right now. He was bothered with a ribcage problem and also a strained leg muscle.
There's a swing and a foul. That transformation has occurred in about 3 days because he didn't look too good the other night.
Oh, I thought he was throwing the ball hard, but he was just throwing it where they were swinging. It was one of those nights, but I think his arm is in good shape, and from watching his breaking stuff today, if somebody wants to trade for him, they still got a pitcher that can pitch.
But he's got a contract that they don't want to pay.
Well, that had nothing to do with that.
1 ball and 2 strikes to the batter. Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul. Coming back upstairs. Almost went into the booth next to us. One ball and 2 strikes. Here's a swing and a base hit to left. Here goes Rudy. It might go all the way to the wall. Lamar headed for second. Miller dives and gets the ball up against the screen, and Johnson goes in with a double. I don't think I've ever seen that. He dove after that ball to keep it from carrying him off the left center field wall out there, and Miller holds Johnson to a double.
Well, that ball was hit like a bullet over the shortstop's head and just kept going. The English took off and were right to the wall, and before it got to the wall, Miller did something I've never seen before. He slid into the wall and prevented it from coming off. He got it in his glove and came up firing.
Shades of Jim Rivera.
I never saw him do that either, but I saw
Well, he did it on the base pass.
Yeah.
Here's the pitch, and it's up high a ball. Jim Rivera made one of the finest catches I've ever seen, primarily because it meant a lot. That was in the 1959 World Series at the Coliseum. Seemed like he ran about 800 feet for the ball. Kept the White Sox in the World Series. Here's a pitch inside a ball and sent the series back to Chicago.
Jim Rivera did things that he lacked certain abilities on the field, but he hustled and played hard, and he hated to lose, and he didn't want to be out of that lineup. So he played many times with injuries, so that's the kind of a player I enjoyed watching.
2 balls and no strikes as Molinaro takes a strikeout on the outside corner. Molinaro got the game-winning hit here last night. Harry?
Lauren, you guys talking about Jim Rivera, you know how tough Rogers Hornsby was. And Hornsby paid him the supreme compliment. He said he's the only ball player he'd pay his way in to watch.
Here's the pitch, and it's a strike.
That is some compliment.
And that was before Pete Rose came along. I'm sure Roger would have passed the same accolade on to Pete.
Of course, Rivera was. He was like Minnie Minosa. He electrified the crowd.
2-2 the count. Right-hander out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. Inside and high, backs him away, and the count goes full.
You know, when the fans call you Jungle Jim, they're expecting all kinds of things that are going to happen, and it did every day for him.
He owns a restaurant now. What is it, New Albany, Indiana?
Angola,
Indiana.
He can cook, too.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan out of the stretch, glances to second. Oh, there goes Lamar. They're going to pick off attempt. He throws it and gets it. Lamar went too soon. He got picked off second base. The ball was thrown low by Ryan, and a nice job by Anderson getting it and putting the tag on him.
You're absolutely right, Lauren. What he did was he committed himself. He was going to steal third. And what happened, Ryan just kept standing there, and as he saw him leaning towards third, he stepped off and threw to second base. They had him easy on a fine play by a veteran pitcher who you can't steal third on too often.
That goes in the pickoff, 1-6. So there's 2 out. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Molinaro. Swinging a shot to right. And Landreau is there and takes it to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left on. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. The White Sox won, the Angels won.
One of baseball's greatest sports attractions will be on TV again soon. It's the World Series.
Back in Anaheim, the baseball season ends today, but Stroh's promises to satisfy your beer taste forever. The season on the field for the White Sox was not what we had hoped, but you baseball fans made it a great year for the Stroh Brewery. And the Stroh's family, who have been brewing fine beer for more than 200 years, sincerely appreciate your acceptance of their product. So the season is about over, but we hope you'll remember to ask for Stroh's whatever the season. Stroh's, the real beer drinker's beer.
Joe Rudi leads it off here as we go to the bottom of the 4th in a tie ball game, 1-1. It was Rudy's single with 2 out in the 1st that gave the Angels a 1-0 lead. A walk in air and a sacrifice fly in the top of the 2nd by Squires tied it up. Here's a swing and a long drive. Right center field, way back. Molinaro can't get it. Got by him. Here goes Rudy into 2nd with a double. That ball appeared to be catchable. Apparently he had trouble with the sun. He was angling off on it, but as I said, still appeared to be catchable.
Tough play because the ball was hit so far. And you know, Washington gave it a good try, and then Molinaro, not sure whether he was going to take it or not, wasn't able to take it. So it's one of those plays where the ball was hit right in the gap.
Looked like it was Molinaro's ball. It's sort of like Jimmy had said. It held up at the last instant. The ball right by him, and it goes as a double.
Yeah, but he wasn't running to where the ball was. That's what made it bad. He was running towards the direction that was about 20 feet from where the ball was hit.
So the tie-breaking run at 2nd with nobody out. Ron Jackson, the batter, fouled out to Mike Squires at 1st. His only time up. Here's the pitch, swinging a fly ball, right center field, might drop, coming in, base hit. Molinaro has it and throws it into Chappis at 2nd. Rudy had to hold up in fear that ball might be caught. So the Angels have runners at 1st and 3rd. Nobody out.
It just seems like a lot of times in communication, that ball couldn't have been caught, but I think in spring training, our outfielders, if we can get the same group of outfielders playing every day, it would help us even more. because this year we were never sure what outfielder should be where. And I think now, if we don't know who can play where, we're in trouble.
Chet Lemon not in the lineup today. Chet hitting an even 300, and I think the White Sox would like to see him wind up that way.
He's had a good, since he's come back, about 6 weeks.
Right-hander delivers to Brian Downing, up high a ball. As we indicated earlier, Downing voted the Inspirational Player of the Year award here in his first campaign as a member of the California Angels. Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch, high and inside. Ball 2.
Here's one of those spots where your pitcher needs that strikeout to have a chance to get out of the inning.
Barrios working out of the stretch. Jackson at first. Gritch at third, or rather Rudy at third. Here's the pitch outside. Ball 3. A bad one would load the bases with nobody out.
Barrios really complaining on a pitch that was high and outside. He's really panicking out there right now. He's upset with himself, but taking it out on the umpire on a pitch that didn't even look close.
We've talked about it many times. It's been Barrios' problem, that controlling his emotions. Here's the pitch, and it's high and inside. A ball. He walked it. Bases loaded. Now, one questionable ball that he threw to Downing, all of them were off the mark. So Jackson goes to second, Downing to first, Rudy remains at third, nobody out, and Doby goes to the mound.
With nobody warming up in the bullpen as of yet, so we must be going to talk to him a little bit about cooling him down, because he really got hot on that third pitch. Luciano's going out to talk with him about it.
I'll tell you why. As Doby came out of the dugout, he's walking towards the mound, and he's not looking at all at Luciano because he cannot protest a pitch. That's an automatic ejection. So he's keeping his eyes directly forward, walking towards the mound, and really reading out Ron Luciano.
He's doing it now, too, going back, Harry.
So Luciano walks all the way out to the mound so that to force Doby to actually direct his remarks at Luciano. Now, that's what you call looking for an argument.
Well, I'll tell you, he really was hot at him. He kept talking to him in real loud, in no uncertain terms of what he's telling him. And I don't know what for, because all pitches were really bad, way outside and way inside.
All right, here's the pitch to Gritch, and it's outside a ball. Well, it's called strike in the outside corner. Mike Colburn got up to warm somebody, but nobody got up with Mike in the bullpen, so he went back and took a seat. Barrios working out of a full windup. Delivers. Swing and a miss on a good fastball. Strike 2.
That's the Barrios I know when he's winning. He's reaching right back now and just humming.
Barrios leads the club in starts and complete games. Also in shutouts, which will not happen today. Here's the pitch inside, almost hit him. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
If he could get a slider over with something on it right now on the outside part of the plate, he'd strike him out.
Right-hander ready. Here's the delivery. Swinging a long drive. It'll score the run from third. Gar goes back. He's there. He's got it. Here comes the runner tagging up from third. The throw comes in, cut off by Soderholm, and it's a 2-1 ball game. That ball looked like it might get out of here when it got off the bat.
Yeah, he got it inside, but he jammed him a little bit with it. His fastball is really alive.
You talk about the ball not carrying well here at night. I don't know if it was him, but there have been a couple of shots today that didn't carry that well in the daytime either in this park.
That ball, Lauren, he hit it right off the fist.
Yeah, he hit it on the fist.
It jumped up. Thought it might have a chance, but it's a 2-1 ball game now. And the Angels out in front. That's the 42nd RBI of the year by Gritch. So there's 1 out, and Anderson, the batter, grounded into a double play his last time up. Hits a shot to Soderholm, steps on third, throws to first, double play. Anderson 2 times in a row grounds into a double play, and it could have been a heck of a lot worse. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on. Make that 2 left on. Correction, 1 left on, that's correct. So we're at the end of 4. California 2, the White Sox 1. Lauren Brown along with Harry Carey and Jimmy Pearsall back at Anaheim as we go to the 5th. Angels leading by a score of 2-1. Mike Squires, who drove in the only White Sox run with a sacrifice fly his first time up, will lead it off. Squires will be followed by Foley and Chappis. Bottom third of the order.
Squires hit a good low pitch for that sacrifice fly.
Here's the pitch way outside a ball by Ryan. He has walked 3 and struck out 4 this afternoon. Outfield playing Squires to go the other way. Give him a lot of room in right center. Here's the pitch, swinging a grounder. Lansford dives at third, gets up, throws it away. And Squires makes the turn, but the ball ricochets off the boxing railing, comes back to Gritch. He has no chance to go on to second.
The ball wasn't hit hard, but it was just hit in the right spot. And when Lansford dove for it, as he got up, he stumbled through sidearm and just threw it completely wild by everybody at first base. They got a break when the ball bounced right back to the second baseman, Grish. And Squires, who made the turn, had to hustle back in. But a fine play by Lansford, but he couldn't make the throw because of his balance.
And they gave it an infield hit. So the White Sox, with their second hit of the afternoon, have the tying run on with nobody out in Marv Foley. The batter got a degree in history from the University of Kentucky. It's also his hometown at Lexington. Here's the pitch, a fastball, cut on and fouled, strike 1.
I don't want to get personal now. Does that degree in history help you swing that bat?
Apparently it has helped him because he's in the big leagues. Now, if he was still in Appleton or Knoxville, say the jury is out. I think it's great a kid can combine a college education and Major League Baseball. Here's the pitch, and it's low ball, shortened up as if to bunt. But if my boy was a prospect out of high school, I'd let him sign.
With first base, Jackson holding the runner on and Grish over by the bag, there's a big hole for Foley to pull that ball, who likes to pull with men on base. And to see him bunting in this situation with 1 run down in the 5th, you kind of wonder if somebody missed a sign or something.
Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch. Or safety first baseball. Swing and a miss. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Foley. Harry Chappis in the on-deck circle. Another hot, humid day in California. Not much of a breeze. Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul up the screen. The Cubs lost their final game of the year at Wrigley Field today, 5-3. Cabell over McLaughlin. The Mets, the winners. Pirates beat the Phillies 5-3. Cincinnati in extra innings in the 11th. Here's the pitch, and it's high a ball. They're tied up 8-8 with Atlanta as Atlanta got 5 in the 9th. Wonder how many hits Pete Rose has collected. He needed 3 today, from the first man in Major League history to collect 200 hits in 10 consecutive seasons. Right-hander ready. There goes the runner. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. He is safe. It'll be a stolen base as Foley strikes out. Squires gets the stolen base, and for Mike, since coming up from the minors, that is his 4th stolen base.
Boy, Squires got a good jump. He read Ryan pretty darn good, and Ryan, who likes to rear back once in a while when he's got 2 strikes, and I should say a lot of times, did it, and he got to pick that front foot up, and he had a good chance to steal it on him, and he did by plenty.
So Harry Chappis, the batter, flied out to left. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. The only time Harry has flied out where it's meant anything was when runners were at third. But let's see, in 4 times up the other night, he was 2. Last night, 5, and that would be 9. 5 for 9. 6 for 10. Here's the pitch, low ball. 10 times up in this series, 6 times he's flown out to the outfield.
Looks to me like he's a little anxious lately. He's swinging at that first pitch and popping it up high to the outfield or the infield. He had a Major League fly ball last night to first base.
Nolan out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. Inside of the corner, a strike. 1-2. The tying run at second.
That pitch right there, Lawrence, seems to bother Harry. He quits on it too soon, and it comes back. He either backs up or hits the corner on him.
Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch. Way outside of ball. Evens it up at 2-2. This is the final game of the 19 78 White Sox campaign. The best the White Sox can finish is 72 and 89. Cubs finished up today, winning 79 and losing 83. Here's the pitch. And it's high a ball. So the Cubs, who had quite a year, tailed off at the end and wind up the season.
Ryan,
4 games under 500.
Giving the umpire a funny look about that pitch. He can't believe that ball could be too high.
That was ball 3.
Yeah.
So the full count to Harry Chappis. Now Harry steps out.
You know, you see a lot of ball players, they play shallow. The outfield right here are playing pretty darn deep, all of them.
I asked Chris Knapp about that today. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a good fastball. 6 strikeouts now for Ryan. And the batter will be Ralph Garr. You know, what's interesting, we'll be talking to Eric Soderholm when the game is over in the Hot Corner show and going for the highs on the club, who was high in this area, that area. But an interesting note is that Ralph Garr, and this is something that Bill Veeck has contended for a long time, is that when he gets on base, he makes things happen. He has scored more runs than any other White Sox player, but yet has missed about 45 games. Here's the pitch, low ball. I think that's a significant item, Jimmy. Let's see, the closest man to him is Soderholm, and he's 9 runs scored more than Eric, and Eric has 20 home runs. Here's the pitch, and it's up high a ball. Let's see, you take Eric, 57 runs scored, 20 homers, so really, outside of the homers, 37 runs scored. Garr with 3 homers, 66 runs scored, so minus those 3, that's 63. That's almost twice as many. Here's a swing and a grounder, right side, tough play. Ryan has it, races to the bag as Jackson couldn't get there in time, and he outruns Garr to retire the side. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's California 2, the White Sox 1. Lauren Brown along with Harry Carey and Jimmy Pearsall as we go to the bottom of the 5th. White Sox trailing here by a score of 2-1. The Angels jumped out in front of the first with a single by Miller. With 1 out, Lansford singled him to second, and with 2 down, Joe Rudy singled Miller home to make it a 1-0 ball game. White Sox tied it in the second on a leadoff walk to Johnson. He advanced to third on an error by Gritch, who tried to double him off of first base after Molinaro had lined out. Johnson wound up at third with 1 down, and Squires drove him home with a sacrifice fly to tie it up. Then the Angels got the bases loaded and nobody out in the last inning, and were only able to come up with 1 run, that on a sacrifice fly by Bobby Gritch. So that's the scoring here at Anaheim. 2-1 in the first pitch. To the leadoff man, Rick Miller, is a strike.
Chicago and Oakland all tied up 9-9 in the third quarter.
Is that in it or at the end of it, Jimmy?
At the end of it.
Okay. Right-hander delivers. Here's a swing and a base hit to right center field. Washington coming over to cut it off. Miller makes the turn at first. He's going to try for second. The throw comes in, and it gets through Chappis, and he is safe.
There's no question he had it beat. I guess you say Washington's leg is bothering him. He very slowly went to his left. When he tried to pick the ball up, it hit the heel of his glove, went up his arm. The runner kept on running, and when he threw the ball to second, it was too late and got by Chappis anyways. So now there's a runner on second base on a, what you'd call a regular single up the middle.
So it goes as a double, the second straight double to lead off an inning, and the Angels here in 5 innings have had their leadoff man on 3 times. Make that 4 times in 5 innings. Barrios working out of the stretch. Here's the pitch to Landreau, and it's a strike. Landreau is flied out to center on 2 occasions today. Carney Lansford in the on-deck circle. Outfield playing Landreau straight away as Barrios delivers from the belt, way high a ball.
Pete's got a chance to get a lot of hits. They're in the 10th inning, all tied up. Atlanta at Cincinnati, 8-8. 13th?
13th inning.
13th inning, huh? Oh. Too many numbers.
Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch. Swinging a grounder to the right side. Squires may let it go, and he does. It's a foul ball, and the runner will have to go back to second. Landreau will have to go back to the plate.
San Francisco looks like they may win their first game. They're 0-4. They're in the third quarter. They lead Cincinnati 21-9. I picked them today.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Angels have out-hit the White Sox here, 6-2. Soderholm playing in at third. Right-hander delivers. Here's the pitch. Swinging a grounder to Chiapas at short. Holds the runner at second, and he throws him out. So there's 1 out. And the batter will be Carney Lansford. He is singled, and he has been called out on strikes. Lansford trying to wrap up the Rookie of the Year award. He's got a lot of competition with Lou Whitaker at Detroit, Paul Molitor at Milwaukee, Dave Revering at Oakland, Rich Gale at Kansas City, Roger Erickson at Minnesota. Quite a few standouts this year in the rookie crop. Here's a swing and a miss, strike 1.
Denver leads Seattle 14-7 at the end of the third quarter.
In that ball game that the Angels are interested in up at Seattle, Texas out in front, 6-2 at the end of 5 over the Mariners. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. So he's in the hole, 0-2. A good crowd on hand, Fan Appreciation Day. Short memorial service prior to the ball game. The slain Lyman Bostock. A letter read to the crowd in appreciation from Mrs. Bostock. Well, the Angels experiencing one of the finest years in the history of the organization, but yet marred by tragedy with only a week to go in the season. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Swinging a foul, just got a piece of it. The Angels having their best year hitting, total hits, grand slams, sacrifice flies, home runs here in this stadium, grand slams, but more importantly to the front office, attendance. Here at home, their best attendance ever, and on the road, the best they have ever drawn. Here's the pitch. Fastball high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Francisco Barrios. Is ready. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul down the left side over Johnny McNamara's head. 2 Johnny McNamaras here in the dugouts. One, the coach of the California Angels, now in the third base coach's box, and the other in the White Sox dugout, one of the White Sox equipment managers.
A nicer day you couldn't have in California.
We could use a little more of a breeze blowing this way.
Well, guys that have a problem with that beer.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Low ball, 2-2. But see, I got a long sleeve shirt and a tie on, and you have a short sleeve shirt, so I should have followed your lead.
This is the way they dress in California.
But I'll be in Chicago early in the morning, so I want to be ready.
Going to catch a cab?
2 balls and 2 strikes, called United. Here's the pitch, outside a ball. White Sox will be flying out of here tonight. United Airlines Flight 116. Departing, believe it or not, at 10:30.
In the right field stands, they've got a big rubber ball, and they're banging it up in the air, hitting it to each other. What a way to have a ball.
3-2 pitch, swinging a foul down the left side over the Angels dugout into the seats. First flight the Sox can get out of here because of the late start of the ball game is 10:30 tonight. Another 7 hours from now, and they'll be arriving in Chicago at approximately 4:10 in the morning. So we'll probably see Rudy Schaefer and Bill Veeck at the ballpark when we get there around 5. Here's the pitch. Up high a ball, he walked him. He got out in front of him, 0-2, but then he got careful, Jimmy.
Yeah, again, he's going on that breaking ball, and he's not coming over the top. He's coming flat 3/4 and just hanging it outside. And now he's got a guy like Baylor up there who is really hot. He's what you call real hitterish. Against us this year, he's driven in something like 13 runs, I think.
Baylor, 34 homers, 99 RBIs. He was given the owner's trophy today as the best of the Angels. You know, Bobby Knopp, White Sox coach, got that award about 3 times. Here's the pitch outside a ball. 2 on, 1 out. We're in the 5th. Angels leading 2-1.
Bobby got the most inspirational. His bat would never get him the Player of the Year.
Was that the inspirational one that he got, that Downing got? I thought he got the...
No.
I thought they had mentioned that when they gave the award to Baylor.
Bobby got it for inspirational.
Not the Player of the Year.
No.
1 ball, no strikes. Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch, and it's outside a ball.
Bobby's bat was a little bit to be desired. His fielding was fantastic.
I think he still holds American League as well as National. Well, I think just American League records for second baseman in fielding.
There was a better arm making the pivot than Bobby Knopp's, excited of maybe Mazurowski.
2 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Swinging a grounder, foul to the left side. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Don Baylor, good old Texas boy from Austin. They got a few Texans on this club.
Yeah, Dave Chalk, who having his leg operated on tomorrow, is from Texas.
Yep, graduate of the University of Texas. Nolan Ryan from Alvin, Texas. Baylor from Austin. I think Baylor might be from Houston.
Anybody from Waterbury?
Not today. Here's the 2-1 pitch inside a ball. You know, the city that I find that is very predominant in the major leagues is Birmingham, Alabama. I think there's about 10 guys in this league from Birmingham.
How about that town where Frank Robinson came from?
Oakland. A lot of those guys. Here's the pitch, and its time has been called. Oakland sent a lot of guys to the big leagues, as did Fresno, California. Tom Seaver is from Fresno. Dick Ellsworth.
That's pretty good.
Maloney used to be with
you get Robinson, Pinson, Morgan, Martin. You got a lot of... That's pretty good.
Maloney used to be with
you get Robinson, Pinson, Morgan, Martin. You got a lot of
Kurt
guys.
Flood.
Yeah, a lot of great players from one little area there.
McClemens High School in Oakland.
Yeah,
Here's the 3-1 pitch. A swing and a fly ball to left. Gar going over to his left is there. He's got it. And there's 2 down. So there's 2 out. Baylor is flied out. To each outfielder on the White Sox. We've got some activity in the White Sox bullpen. The left-hander is up.
Torrey Alba, I believe.
Joe Rudy, the batter. He is singled and doubled.
Yeah, Torrey Alba's loosening up.
Two to 1. The Angels are out in front. White Sox trying to end the season on a high note. It would mean 3 straight wins, and it would also mean the season series over the Angels. Right-hander delivers. Here's the pitch to Rudy. Swinging a shot to Soderholm. He's got it. Goes to second for the force out, and that retires the side. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on. So we go to the 6th at Anaheim. The Angels 2, the White Sox 1. Lauren Brown along with Jimmy Pearsall and Harry Carey as we go to the 6th inning. White Sox trailing here by a score of 2-1 have collected only 2 hits off of Nolan Ryan. The White Sox scored their lone run without benefit of a hit back in the 2nd inning. A walk, 2-base throwing error, and a sacrifice fly. The White Sox finished up the month of September by winning here last night. Wound up having a winning month for only the 2nd time this year, 15-14. Their best month of the year was the last for Bob Lemon when they won 17 and lost 12. This is their only game in the month of October, so they have a chance to finish with a winning record here in October. Interestingly enough, that ball, by the way, just got knocked into the Angels' dugout from the stands.
You know, I was talking about how great it would be San Francisco might win one. Well, Cincinnati's creeping up. It's now 21-12 in the 4th quarter. San Francisco leading.
Here's the pitch to the leadoff man, Greg Pryor. Greg, 0 for 2, bounced out to the pitcher and has been called out on strikes. He'll be followed by Washington and Soderholm. Ryan in the windup delivers in a hurry. Ball outside, 2-0.
In the 4th quarter now, Denver leads Seattle 21-7. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way to Pryor. Swing and a miss.
Pryor hitting .455 against the Angels this year.
Harper just made a touchdown run for Chicago to go out in front now, 16-9.
But Oakland just came back and scored to tie
Well, you
it
always
up.
come in with nice news. You know, where you been?
I've been watching the game.
Here's the pitch, a strike. 2-2 the count. Two the count, nobody on. Leadoff man here in the sixth, Greg Pryor from Orlando, Florida. Here's the pitch to him, and it's outside a ball.
I read it right this time, Lauren. Atlanta, Cincinnati are now going into the 14th inning with the score 8-8.
Well, they're giving Pete Rose all the chances in the world to get 3 hits. Have you heard anything, Harry, on that?
I haven't. The fact that it didn't come through on the wire would indicate he didn't get them.
Right-hander ready. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it's up high a ball. He walked it. That is the 4th walk given up by Ryan. The first time that he walked a man to lead off an inning was in the second. Lamar Johnson came around to score. So Claudell Washington, the batter, has not hit the ball in fair territory, and 2 times up. He has walked and he has struck out.
You know, it doesn't take much to please people. That big round ball, that rubber ball, is just going all the way now down the right field line again.
Right-hander out of the stretch. Pryor with the lead. Here's the delivery, not going. Swinging a foul. Yeah, they had a ball here on the left side, went into their dugout.
I can see you doing that at the beach, but I can't see you doing it at the ballpark.
1 strike in the batter. Nolan Ryan, whom the White Sox knocked out here Thursday night in 2/3 of an inning, has come back now. Allowed only 1 run on 2 hits through 5 innings. Toss over to first, the runner back. Outfield playing Claudell to go the other way. If he can pull that ball into the gap in right center, at least get a triple. Ryan ready, Lansford playing in. Here's the pitch, low a ball. In fact, Lansford came charging in from third. Looking for the bunt attempt. He made no attempt to bunt. Looking down to Bobby Knopp for a sign. Toss over to first, the runner back. White Sox came from behind to win it last night, leading all the way 2 nights ago to win it, after the Angels had come storming back to win it the night before. Here's the pitch, low, ball 2. Oh, did he call a strike? The board said a strike. The ball was low. I didn't see him make an offering, Jimmy.
I didn't either. I don't know what he did, but I know it's Washington shaking his head.
Yeah, he can't believe it.
I don't think that Luciano's having one of his better days today, and I guess good umpires like him will have a bad day now and then, because every hitter at one time or another has been complaining to him about something. And Larry Doby has really voiced his opinion to him a couple of times.
So, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Downing out to talk to Ryan for a moment.
You know, Lauren, I was just looking here. California as a team has drawn 532 walks. The White Sox as a team has drawn 403. It's a lot of men on base, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's a big difference in the two. You know, both clubs hitting. In fact, the White Sox hitting 264. They're 259. Here's the pitch. A bunt back to the screen. He's out. Bunting with 2 strikes.
I got to believe he's missing signs. You know, we're in the 6th inning, and the second pitch after a strike, he looked like he wasn't going to go after it all. Then he looked down, and now he throws his bat and helmet on the ground. I got to believe that's a missed sign, bunting with 2 strikes.
The Angels have hit 107 homers. The White Sox 106. So they're fairly even in team hitting and power. Runs driven in. The Angels have driven in approximately 50 more than the White Sox coming into today's game. So Eric Soderholm, the batter, he has really been tied up in knots by Ryan, having struck out twice. Right-hander delivers. Here's the pitch, fastball for a strike in the outside corner.
Boy, they're playing Soderholm what you call straightaway in left, deep and straightaway in center, and in right field, playing straightaway as a right field Landro.
Ryan ready out of the stretch. Pryor with the lead off of first. Not going. Here's the pitch, swinging a foul. Comes back upstairs.
Ooh.
Almost hit Red Patterson. Formerly with the Dodgers, been with the Angels a long time. So Soderholm in the hole, 0-2.
Boy, Harry, you ought to get a few here if you had your net.
Oh, I get a million.
2 strikes in the batter.
Feel that breeze, Warren?
Starting to make it. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3. Oh, he says it hit his bat. Downing hung on to it. Hit the end of the bat. Soderholm has struck out 3 straight times.
That ball hurts Downing's hand. He's got his glove off right now. Well, that was one of those pitches that when it hit the glove, it was like a sinker and just a real heavy landing in the pocket.
8 strikeouts now for Ryan. Well, nobody has hit the ball in fair territory in this inning. A leadoff walk and 2 strikeouts.
The ball's now on the field.
The beach ball.
The beach ball.
Up, the ball boy's going to take it.
But they got another one up there, too.
Yep. Persistence will out when talent will not oftentimes. So the fans are persistent. And they get out another beach ball. That's the 3rd they've had out here today. All right, right-hander ready. Here's the pitch. And it's a strike in the outside corner. Strike 2. Got out in front of Claudel. Soderholm, and now Johnson 0-2. Lamar has walked and scored, and he has doubled.
Got picked off a second.
Right-hander ready. Toss over to first, runner back. That was after he had doubled with 1 out. He represented the tying run. That was back in the 4th. Molinaro in the on-deck circle. Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch. Fastball fouled back to the screen.
Ryan throwing as hard as he could possibly throw. I'd say he's throwing about 92 miles an hour right now. And his breaking ball has not been too much, but his fastball has been explosive. It's sailing, it's sinking. Awfully hard for a hitter to look for it in any one spot. He had Johnson reaching for that pitch.
He has won 10 or more games every year as an American leaguer. He's won 9 this year coming into today's game. Here's the pitch up high, hits his bat, and comes back upstairs. The last time that Ryan failed to win 9 games in a season was when he was with the New York Mets. That was in 1970. He won 7 and lost 11 that year. That was his second to last year with the Mets. With him in 71, won 10 and lost 14. Then he came over here, won 19, 21, 22, 14, 17, and 19. Now he has won only 9 and lost 14. Right-hander ready. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Check swing, called strike 3, struck him out. As he strikes out the side, 9 for the ball game. No runs, no hits. 1 man left on. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's still California 2. The White Sox 1.
The whole world way for your constant enjoyment. Stroh's Family Brewers for more than 200 years.
Ron Jackson leads it off here in the 6th inning. Angels out in front of the White Sox 2-1 as Francisco Barrios winds and delivers up high a ball. Jackson is fouled out to first, and he is singled in 2 trips. He'll be followed by Brian Downing and Bobby Grich. Right-hander delivers, and it's a fastball for a strike in the outside corner. Evens it up 1-1. White Sox trying to end the season on a winning note here today. Here's the pitch, a fastball, fouled off to the left side, and it'll be out of play. The White Sox, best record that they can attain would be 72-89. The worst would be 71-90.
In the lower deck, that high fly ball, somebody dove through the air with white and a blue shirt on. It went over about 3 seats with a glove on, but didn't catch it.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a long fly ball to left. This ball might be out of here. It is gone. A home run. A pitch up around his eyes on a 1-2 delivery. He hung one up there.
That's that slow breaking change he's been trying to work on today. He's been very fortunate. Sometimes he's gotten it too high when he didn't swing on it, but that time Jackson reached up and lines it into the lower deck about 380 feet away.
That's his 6th home run of the year. Product of Birmingham, Alabama. On a 1-2 pitch. No doubt about it when it got off the bat into the left field seats. And it is a 3-1 ball game.
I got another award for Brian Downey after this pitch.
Right-hander ready. Here's the pitch to Downing, and it's low ball.
He's wearing the filthiest uniform of the day.
He always does.
He's got himself so dirty right now in that white uniform, you can't tell whether it's white or brown.
Here's the pitch, and it's outside a ball. He gets involved.
Oh, he loves to play, boy. He'd like to play under the plate.
Right-hander into the windup. The 1-1 pitch to Downing. Swing and a miss on a fastball at a big cut. Downing has walked twice today. 3-1 Angels. Barrios into the windup. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He got jammed, swinging a pop-up in the left side. Soderholm, the third baseman's there, and he takes it. And there's 2 down, 1 down, correction. 1 out.
When you watch him throw his fastball, it's still alive. He threw one right by him that he swung at. That time he jammed him. And the pitch he threw to Jackson was just a pitch that you got to believe he's working on, but for some reason it just doesn't look like it's going to be a good pitch for him. He's got to go to that hard stuff.
Here's the pitch to Grich. Swinging a fly ball, deep right center field. Claudel going way back. He got it! About a foot away from the fence out in right center field.
Claudel got a real good jump on that ball and just outran a line drive. It wasn't hit awfully high. And as he got near the fence with his right hand, boy, he made a good catch. And boy, you ought to see Grish. He threw his helmet a mile. A real fine catch by Claudel.
31,327 here today.
Gives the Angels a season total $1,755,386. 1,755,386. Here's a swing and a shot to Soderholm. Fair ball. Throws to first. He got him. So that retires the side. In the inning, 1 run on the leadoff home run by Jackson. 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on. We're at the end of 6, California 3, the White Sox 1. Lauren Brown and Jimmy Pearsall back at Anaheim as we go to the 7th. The Angels leading 3-1, and for the final time in 1978, Lauren Brown passing it on for the final 3 innings to Harry Carey.
Okay, Lauren. Here we go with Bobby Molinaro. The White Sox are trailing now 3-1. The Angels going for their 87th victory of the year, the most this club has ever won in any one season in the big leagues. Here's a curveball low to Bobby Molinaro. An interesting note, this great young third baseman of theirs, Carney Lansford, is going to report to their instructional league in Arizona to play shortstop. Here's the pitch, swung on, popped up. Foul territory, Lansford under the ball, and he makes the catch. Molinaro fouls out. Nolan Ryan closing in on his 10th victory of the season. He is fan 9. He's been dominant today. He's only allowed 2 hits. Boy, this Lansford, such a great prospect, just 21 years old, fine hitter, good speed, great arm. Yet the Angels aren't happy with that. They want to make a shortstop out of him. And this kind of fits in with what Frank Lane said the other day, that their greatest need was for a shortstop. 1 out, nobody on. The pitch is low to Squires. In other words, there are many around, but they don't think that any of them are the kind of shortstop they really want. Now the delivery. Squires takes a curve in there. Strike call. 2 strikes and the ball. 1 man out. Ball game of the 7th. White Sox trail by 2. Final game of the season. Here's the pitch. Swung on and he fouled it back and out of play. There's a big red banner here. Your number 1, Nolan Ryan. Another one.
They must be looking at the wrong record.
Here's the pitch on the way. Ground ball to the second baseman. Bobby Gritch comes up with it. Throws the first for the out. 2 up, 2 down. Ryan's allowed only 2 hits. A double by Lamar Johnson in the 4th, and then he was picked off second. And a leadoff single by Squires in the 5th. That's been it. 2 men are out. We have a playoff game to settle the Eastern Division title tomorrow between the Yankees and the Red Sox. The game will be played at Fenway Park. Mike Torres for the Red Sox, a right-hander, and Ron Guidry for the Yankees, a left-hander. Here's a strike call to Foley. Foley's walked and fanned so far. The ball game in the 7th. 3-1 in favor of the Angels. Now the pitch, here it is. Curveball a little bit low. Marv Foley, out of the University of Tennessee. Now the signal. Here's the wind, the pitch. And it's a fastball outside. 4-3. 3 balls and a strike, 2 men are out, 7th inning. Harry Chappis due to be next. Chappis is 0 for 2 today. Here's the pitch. High fly ball, left center field. Rudy on the run is there. Waiting for it, and he takes it. 1, 2, 3. That's 6 in a row. Retired by Nolan Ryan. We go into the bottom of the 7th. The Angels 3, the White Sox 1. 386. They were in contention all the way until about a week ago. They increased their attendance over a year ago by 323,000. And I just wonder if the White Sox had been in their position in the race all year long, what their attendance would have been. As it was, the White Sox drew 8,000 less than 1,500,000. And never were in the race.
He asked about why Lansford is going to shortstop. They say that they have a youngster by the name of Rafer who played at El Paso, and also Jackson, who's playing first base right now, can play third. And Lansford played in high school at shortstop, so they feel that it's easier to find a third baseman than to find a shortstop.
All right, here we go with Rick Miller to lead it off in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3-1 in favor of the Angels. Barrios into the windup, the pitch swung on and popped up. Harry Chappis calling for it, makes the catch in fair territory down the left field line. 1 out. You're listening to White Sox baseball, coming to you through WMAQ, NBC Radio in Chicago. They're having a lot of fun with those beach balls. James and Sophie Pokracki in Chicago. Happy to hear their sons are watching the game. Now the wind, here's the pitch. And it's in there for a strike call to Ken Landreau. Landreau is 0 for 3. Now he takes a curveball low. Sue and Carl are here with their new son, Sam Carl. Uncle Phil, Uncle Ed, and Debbie are all on hand. All Chicagoans. Here's a pitch to Landreau. Swung on, ground ball, right field. Base hit. Landreau rolled a single to right, and he is on. Dan Koblarchek from the southwest side of Chicago wants to be remembered.
You know, Harry Landreau, we've had pretty good luck with. It's only his 3rd hit in this series, but he's got a good swing. I think what he's trying to do a little bit too much is hit home runs. Sometimes you sit on a bench and you're a youngster. When you get back in the lineup, you go for the long ball, and that's what he's been doing. But here comes Lansford, a young man with all the potential in the world to play anywhere he wants to play. He's built well, he's strong, and I've realized watching him the last year that he's able to adjust to certain pitchers. He looks for the curveball in certain situations, which is a sign of a hitter that's going to be a good one.
Ken Landreau, who's walked into the pressure-packed situation of replacing Lyman Bostock, is a 23-year-old kid from Arizona State. It's only his second year in the big leagues, so he's got a long way to go. Lansford is singled, struck out, and walked. First pitch to him is outside. Landreau very fast. Here's the stretch. Now the pitch. He takes a fastball high. 1 out. Ball game in the 7th. Beautiful afternoon. Better than 31,000. Corny Lansford hitting .292. There's the pitch high. Ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. 1 out, 1 on. Ball game in the 7th.
You know, Harry, the White Sox have made 2 double plays today, 2 fine double plays. They now have 130 on the year. So, with Pryor at second and Chappis at short, we've made some double plays.
Now to stretch the pitch, here it is. Strike call. So did they with Kessinger.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we have noticing how the increase has been in the last 20 games. We've been really making some double plays.
3 balls and a strike. 1 out. Runner at first base. Corny Lansford waiting. The pitch. He had a cut and he missed it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bob Clear coaching at first base. Johnny McNamara at third base. McNamara, a fiery little third base coach. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. There goes the runner. Swung on. Base hit down the third base line. Rolling into the corner. Here's the runner around third, Landreau. He's on his way to the plate. Throw back into the infield by Garr. It's a double for Corny Lansford. Driving in his 52nd run of the year. And now it's 4-1. And the way Nolan Ryan has been going, that's a pretty big deficit.
Texas defeated Seattle 9-4. The winning pitcher was Jenkins. He's now 18-8, so he finished the season with a terrific year.
Bobby Bonds hit his 31st of the year in that game. Here's a pitch now to Baylor. He needs an RBI to make it 100. 4-1. This might be his last time at bat this season. The pitch to Baylor swung and he missed a slow curve. He's in the hole, strike 2. Richie Zisk wound up the season with 22 home runs. He hit one with 1 on. Bobby Bonds had 32. Now to stretch. Here's the pitch on the way. Curveball, strike, call. And Baylor is called out on strike. He thought it was inside.
It was a sidearm breaking ball that he thought went around the plate.
Chicago Bears have taken the lead in the 4th period over Oakland, 19-16. Bobby Bonds hit 31 homers for the year. Zisk hit his 22nd. Now the pitch a little bit outside. Mann has just kicked a field goal for Oakland to tie up the game, 19-19 at Soldier Field. Joe Rudy, the batter. Here's the pitch. A bouncing ball to the shortstop. Harry Chappis has it. Over to first for the out. That retires the side with 1 run. 2 hits. No errors, 1 left. At the end of 7. The Angels 4, the White Sox 1.
Looking for a home? This song's for you.
If it's time to move along, go with us, you can't go wrong. We're Relo, we'll help you all the way. From New York to LA, we've got members all the way to help you sell
If you're looking for just the right home, your nearby Relo member has the local listing you need. And if you're moving out of town, he can put you in touch with a Relo member where you're moving, who can find you just the right home in your new hometown. There are over 135 Relo offices in Chicagoland, such as Dennis Realty, serving Berwyn, Cicero, and the western suburbs for 20 years. And there's Percy W. Company, serving the southwest suburbs with integrity since 1952.
Some folks will help you here, some folks will help you there, but at Relo, we'll help you all the way.
Your Relo members will help you all the way.
Harry Carey back in the ballpark. We're going now to the top of the 8th inning. Is 4-1 in favor of the California Angels. Harry Chaffis will be leading it off for the White Sox. Chaffis was 0 for 5 last night, and nothing out of 2 today. He had a big ball game Saturday night when he drove in 3 runs and didn't play Thursday night.
Have they talked about Chappis going to instructional league or anything? I think he needs a rest.
Well, I think he is going to the instructional league.
Really?
Here's Chappis. How can you need a rest when you're only 20 years old?
He's played a lot of baseball, Harry.
Well, they only play under 25 games in the Midwest League. Here's the little guy up at the plate. Hasn't made an error in 20 games since he came up. First pitch, he takes it high. He's sharting up the bunt. Ball 1.
San Francisco now leads Cincinnati 28-12 in the fourth quarter.
1 ball, no strikes, a delivery. There's a curveball up to the knee. That evens it up with a ball and a strike. Ralph Garr will be next. Now the wind, the pitch. Swings and he fouls it back. Well, we're rapidly reaching the end of another baseball season. For most of the teams, there are a few that it doesn't end for yet, including the Red Sox and the Yankees, who must play it off at Fenway Park tomorrow afternoon for the Eastern title. Now the wind, the pitch, and it's outside. The first 2 games of the playoffs will be played in Kansas City. Tuesday, I guess, and Wednesday. Now the pitch, here it is. Swung on line in the center field, a hit. Harry Chappis singles the center. I tell you, there he's got the base hit off Nolan Ryan, and a rope, too.
Foster just hit his 40th home run in the 14th inning with 1 on to defeat Atlanta 10-8. At that ball game, Harry, there was 35,840 at Cincinnati.
They have a big final day, too, where they give away an automobile. Here's Garr. Here's the pitch. Swung, and he missed it a mile. Foster hit 2 homers in that game. His 39th and his 40th. Johnny Bench hit one with the bases loaded. Cincinnati won the ball game 10-8. I wonder if Pete Rose. There's a pitch swung and a bouncing ball foul.
How many hits for Cincinnati?
They had 12 hits. Pete probably got 2, not enough. A runner at first. Garr has been hitless so far. White Sox are trailing 4-1. Ball game in the 8th. Now the signal given. The pitch on the way. Curve outside. Well, to the various sponsors here on WMAQ. The appreciation of everybody involved with the station at your patronage. Runner at first. 2 strikes or nothing. The pitch. Oh, it hit him. Hit by a pitch ball. And Garr's walking slowly down the first baseline. So that's runners on at first and second, nobody out. And here's Pryor. The White Sox trying to make their bid here in the 8th.
Dobie walking down to talk to Gar now about his leg. That ball could really be sore. But I think he's all right.
For the group handling the party's suit, called Bell's decision not to release the files misguided.
Mr. Bell is attempting to cover up.
White Sox trail by 3. Greg Pryor is talking now to Bobby Knapp. Fregosi takes a look down at the bullpen. Fregosi actually is taller than Nolan Ryan. And Ryan's about 6'1".
The final score is Atlanta defeated the Giants 23-0. Buffalo defeated Kansas City 28-13. Pittsburgh defeated the Jets 28-17. Miami defeated St. Louis 24-10. New England beat San Diego 28-23. Miami beat Tampa 24-7. As Pryor continues to look down at Knapp now.
So with runners at first and second and nobody out, here's Pryor. Now the stretch by Nolan Ryan, the pitch. He was going to bunt. And the way he stood up there like it was for a sacrifice. Did they know they're 3 runs behind?
He did bunt at the ball, Harry. He bunted at the ball.
And in a sacrifice position. Not trying to beat it out or anything. He squared around as if to sacrifice. And missed the pitch. 1 strike and nothing. He's going to bunt again. He does. Hey! The ball is fumbled. Brian Diamond recovers. Everybody is safe. The bases are loaded. Now the plate is left unguarded for a moment. Pryor bunted the ball back to Nolan Ryan. In his anxiety to start a double play, he fumbled the ball. Downing recovered and fired to Grich covering. And it was a bang-bang play. It's ruled safe. The White Sox have the bases loaded with nobody out. Now the tying runs are on base, and the go-ahead hitters at the plate.
Unusual baseball seeing a sacrifice in this situation, but the break for the Chicago White Sox is when, as Harry said, Nolan Ryan hurried to field the ball, didn't come up with it, Downing threw it, and everybody at first base thought he was out, except the umpire and our coach.
Ken Kaiser, the first base umpire, called him safe. And there wasn't really too much of an argument about it. Here's Claudell Washington. He walked his first time, fanned the next 2 times. The White Sox have a spot here now to turn it around. Bases are loaded, nobody out. Chaffis, who started it all, with a single to center. Here's the pitch to Claudell Washington. Strike on the outside corner. 1 strike and nothing. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Soderholm will be up there next. Now the wind. Here's the pitch. Low outside. Ball 1. That evens the count of the ball and a strike. Nolan Ryan with a 4-1 lead. But the White Sox have the bases loaded, nobody out. Now the wind. Here's the pitch on the way. Wide ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Even a base on balls would help. Would make it 4-2, bases loaded, nobody out. Now the signal. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch. So he swung at a terrible ball. That would have been ball 3, low and outside a mile. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Washington the hitter. Now the signal given. Nolan Ryan ready. The 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Stop him out. Washington, for the 3rd time today, strikes out. That's strikeout number 10 for Nolan Ryan.
10 strikeouts for Ryan. 14 times this year. 118 times late. 10 or more strikeouts for the game.
14th time this year he's panned 10 or more. Here's Soderholm. Boy, that takes a little life out of you. With a left-hand hitter up there. Now here's Soderholm, the infield playing back. Here's the pitch. Swung at a fastball, and he missed. Soderholm is fanned 3 times in a row.
And we're helping him, too, because that was a bad pitch. And the pitch that Washington struck out on, he had a very feeble swing at it because he was fooled completely.
1 strike and nothing. Bases are loaded, 1 out now. Infield playing back. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. That evens the count. A ball and a strike. 118 times during his career in the major leagues, Nolan Ryan has fanned 10 or more in a game. Boy, that's some mark. A ball and a strike. Now the windup. Here's the pitch on the way. Strike! Slider on the outside corner. 2 strikes and a ball. Eric Soderholm didn't like that call. Lamar Johnson will be up there next.
Harry, with all the shadows around the mound, do you think the hitters might be having a little trouble right now because they don't seem to be picking the ball up too good?
I tell you, the background is bright sunshine. The mound is in shadow. A streak of sunlight cuts across the plate. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball up the middle, might get through. It does. A base hit. 1 run in. 2 runs are going to score. Another man racing for third. And it's a 4-3 ball game as Soderholm comes through with a bouncing single up the middle. For Soderholm, that's 67 runs batted in. The tying run at first with only 1 out. And here's Lamar Johnson as Pryor raced all the way to third on that base hit.
He's the type where, one thing about Ryan that time, he went up too soon for that ball. And he didn't get it. He might have had a double play if he just jumped at the right time.
Well, he would have had a double play on Pryor's bunt, but he fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Here now is Lamar Johnson. Oh, for a long one. Now to stretch the pitch. Curveball a little bit inside. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Oh, a thrilling way to finish the season. To pull this one out of the fire. It's 4-3 now. Runners at first and third, 1 out. The pitch. Low and outside. Ball 2. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this were the last man that Ryan pitched to.
You'd like a guy down at first right now that might be able to take somebody out in a double play. For Soderholm, he just can't move too well.
Now the signal. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitch. There goes a fly ball to left field. Will tie it up. There's the catch by Rudy. Here's a throw to the plate. He scores easily. And on the play, Soderholm advances to second. 4-4 tie.
He might have tagged up a little too soon, so I don't know whether they're going to throw over there. I guess they aren't.
So Soderholm has advanced to second base. Pryor scored after the catch. That's a 72nd run batted in this season for Lamar Johnson, who will lead the White Sox in that department. And there's Bobby Molinaro, whose base hit won the ball game last night. He's hit the ball hard twice out of the 3 times up. Let's see if they're going to walk him intentionally to get to Squires. They are. Molinaro going to be intentionally passed. So that will bring up Mike Squires, who drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 2nd, had a hit in the 5th, and rolled out in the 7th. He'll be up in a spot where he can put the White Sox ahead. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. 4-4 tie. Washington was a key man in this inning, for he fanned with the bases loaded. That was the first out. Soderholm then came through with a base hit to score 2, and Johnson hit a sacrifice fly. Now Molinaro has been intentionally passed. And here's Squires. 1 out of 2 in the ball game, scored tied at 4. Now the signal given. Here's the pitch on the way. Swings and he fouls it into the upper deck. hits an empty seat and rebounds to the lower deck. Nolan Ryan's own error really hurt him here in this inning. This is the seventh man to bat in the inning. 4-4 tie. 3 runs are scored. 2 men are out. 2 men are on. Now the signal. Pitch to Squires. Here it is. Swings, and he taps the ball foul. He was way off stride on that. Strike 2, he's in the hole. The Angels need a victory to finish in a second-place tie. Otherwise, they'll wind up the year third. They've had other teams in their history finish third, but none before that finished second. Now to stretch the pitch. Swings, and he fouls it back. Mike Squires with a count of 2 strikes and nothing. Boy, you don't have much time to make up your mind whether you should swing or not, or where the ball is. A guy who has already been timed at 100 miles an hour plus, firing the ball from 60 feet, 6 inches away. Here's the pitch. Wide. 2 strikes and a ball. Mike Squires, the batter. Ball game in the top of the 8th. Now the stretch. Here's the pitch on the way. Whoa, almost hit him. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Marv Foley will be up there next. Ryan has walked 5. Now the 2-2 pitch. Hey, struck him out. Squires goes down swinging. But the White Sox got 3 runs on just 2 hits. 1 error, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, tied up 4-4.
People use our money to get the most out of life.
At Household Finance, we're celebrating our 100th anniversary this year, and we're very proud of the fact that all through our first century, HFC has been known for friendly, courteous, and efficient service. That's one thing that's never changed, even though we've grown and changed in so many other ways. Over the years, we've become a diversified multinational corporation, serving people in Canada, England, Puerto Rico, and Japan, as well as the United States. Our famous slogan, "Never borrow money needlessly," has always expressed a serious approach to borrowing money. But we know that when used properly, credit can make life more enjoyable and worthwhile. Why not call or visit an HFC office today? Household Finance, an equal opportunity lender.
Come on into HFC. The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Oh, Stroh, for the real beer lover, Stroh tastes like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another, Stroh's.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Harry Carey back in the ballpark. We're going down the bottom of the 8th, all tied up 4-4. They just wish, flashed up on the board, a birthday, which is 63rd, for Jimmy Reese, who's one of the coaches for the Angels. Guy who can tell a million stories. He was a 73, rather. I said 63. It should be 73. He was a teammate of Babe Ruth back there in 30 and 31. Quite a long career in baseball. All right, here we go. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Ron Jackson leading it off. First 2 pitches are back.
Gaylord Perry struck out 10 today. He's the 3rd pitcher in Major League history to strike out 3,000. Fingers is in there in the 11th inning. It's a tie ball game.
Here's the pitch swung on by Jackson, and he fouled it out of play. 2 balls and a strike. Gaylord Perry.
That's 10 against L.A., too. Corbett gave him away for a cup of coffee.
Now the signal given. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a high drive, deep right center. Somebody should catch that ball. Oh! Claudell Washington did. Boy, there are more perils than Pauline out there. Bobby Molinaro apparently is unable to see the ball. Claudell Washington came from nowhere, and what should have been a very routine, easy catch. Washington had to catch on the run with one hand.
Well, that was a sensational catch is what it was, because I don't know what happened to Molinaro. He got there and all of a sudden stopped and let Washington take it.
One man out is Brian Downing now. He's walked twice and popped up. Here's the wind up the pitch. Swung on and popped it up. Foul, out of play. What do you think, Brad Corbett and Billy Hunter? Why would he fire him now?
Because the players say that he doesn't get along well with the young players. That was what I got from talking with Jim Fregosi.
Now the pitch swung on, ground ball to the shortstop, cut off by the third baseman Soderholm. His throw's in time.
So I said to Fregosi, what do you mean by that? What do you mean he can't get along with the young players? He said, well, he's hard on them, and he makes them toe the mark, and he gets them to the point where he makes them angry at them. I says, well, if they're not performing well, what are you supposed to hold their hand?
Well, you know, that's an unfortunate situation when the players can go up in the front office and blast the manager.
That's Bush, well, I'll tell you. It's Bush when a player can go over the manager's head to go up to the front office at all.
Here's Bobby Grich now, and here's the pitch. High, ball one.
You know,
because the player is always self-serving. He's always going to say what he thinks is going to make himself look better.
We had to get permission from the manager to go to the front office if we were going to go.
A ball and a strike, 2 men are out.
You know, I get tired of hearing that word, times have changed. Yeah, we make times change, and the owners make it change.
Now the delivery, here it is. Swung on, bouncing ball to short. Tough play, and Champas can't come up with it. Champas charged the ball, tried to feel it on the short. There's his first error of the season. And a tough chance. Could have very easily given Grich a hit. It was a high hopper that Champas charged into the edge of the grass, trying to scoop up.
One thing about it, Harry, if he got it, he might not have threw him out anyways. That's how tough a play it was.
So they are charged to Champas, his first of the season. This is the 20th game he's played. At that rate, if he played 162 games and made one error every 20 games, he'd wind up with a total of 8 errors for the season. We're going to have a pinch hitter here. Danny Goodwin is going to bat for Jim Anderson. Goodwin, a left-hand hitter. And here's Larry Doby coming out, talking to Barrios. Naturally, Barrios would like to win this final appearance of the year.
Cusick is warming up along with Torrey Alba in the bullpen. And I imagine Doby right now is talking about how he wants to pitch this guy because there's 2 outs.
So Barrios is going to stay in there. National League scores. The Cubs were beaten today by the Mets 5-3. Pirates defeated the Phillies 5-3. I guess they're just thinking back to yesterday when they had a 5-1 lead and lost the ball game 10-8. That cost them the pennant or the championship of their division. San Diego defeated the Dodgers 4-3. Montreal over St. Louis 5-1. Cincinnati outslugged Atlanta 10-8. Here's Danny Goodwin, bottom of the 8th. 4-4 tie. The pitch is high, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. First error of the year charged, little Harry Champas. And a very excusable error. Here's the pitch. And it's a little bit outside. 2 balls, no strike.
Boy, Harry, good news. No, bad news. Oakland won it in overtime.
Now the signal given. The pitch. High and outside. Yep. Oakland beat the Bears in overtime 25-19. Fingers was the winning pitcher. 37 saves and 6 victories to wind up with. Now the pitch to Goodwin. Ball 4. Here now is Rick Miller, a left-hand hitter. White Sox came from behind with 3 in the 8th to tie it. It's a 5th man walk by Barrios. Now the signal given from the belt. Here's the pitch. Swung on and he fouled it out of play. One strike on Rick Miller, who's had 2 hits so far today. Now the signal given. There's Barrios getting ready. The pitch on the way. Here it is. A high pop foul out of play. Strike 2 way ahead of him.
Harry Fingers got the win in that ball game, 16-13, and he has 37 saves on the year. Quite a year for that young man. There was 37,000 at San Diego, so a lot of good attendance around the league.
Yeah, the final standings. Well, it's the only game affecting a final standing. California will either finish 3rd or tied for 2nd with Texas. 2 strikes and nothing. Rick Miller waiting. The pitch. Curve inside. And, of course, the championship of the Eastern Division to be decided tomorrow. The Yankees will finish either 1st or 2nd. The Red Sox will finish either 1st or 2nd, depending on who wins that playoff game tomorrow. Yankees got beat today, and the Red Sox won to necessitate a playoff. Here's the pitch. Whoa, a little bit inside. Ball 2.
Outfielders, boy, Garr is over near the line and shallow. Washington is over in left center field, and he's shallow, and way off the line, Molinaro is almost in center field, so if Miller pulls the ball any way to right, he's got a base hit.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, I imagine a little tough to see down there around home plate right now. It's too bright for the lights to have any impact. Now the side. Barrios is ready. Here's the pitch. Ball 3 now. And Ken Landreau will be up next. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The runners will be going with the pitch. First 2 men were easy outs. Then Grich bounced one toward short on a big high hop. Harry Champas tried to reach it on the short hop. Here's a pitch, ball 4. The bases are loaded. And here's Landreau, a switch hitter. Landreau's 1 out of 4 today. You know, you say the airs open the gates to an inning. The air had nothing to do with the walks to Goodwin, a cold pinch hitter off the bench, and the Rick Miller hitting 261 after being ahead of him. 2 strikes. So it's lousy pitching more than an error by anybody.
Especially in this situation when he had 2 outs, and it looks like Dobie's going to take him out right now, and Torrey Alba's going to come on.
That's a 6th walk given up today by Barrios. 2 of them in this inning. Harry Champas has gone out into left field talking with Ralph Garr. Barrios is out of the game. The only decision he could get would be a defeat There's no way he could be the winner. Gaylord Perry became only the third man in Major League history to record 3,000 strikeouts.
Torey Alba comes on for his 25th time this year. He has a record of 2-4. His ERA is 4.71. He started 3 games. He completed 1. 1 save he has, and he has shut him out once. Pitched 57 innings, given up 69 hits, 10 runs, 10 earned, no home runs, 11 base on balls he's allowed. He's also struck out 11. In football today,
before you do that, Jimmy, let's just mention that this is White Sox baseball coming to you for the final time this year through WMAQ NBC Radio in Chicago.
Sorry to hear the Bears lost 25-19 to Oakland.
And we'll have more about the scores and about Torey Alba following this message.
Hello? What?
Oh, hi, Dad. Did I wake you?
No, it's only 3 in the morning. You know you woke me?
Who is it, Norm?
My son.
What's wrong? Why is he calling?
What's wrong? Why are you calling?
Well, Shirley bought a new potato chip, Dad.
What?
Sounded like Shirley tripped over a potato.
Oh, let me have that. Hello, Robert?
Mom, you know how you always told me that Jay's was a natural potato chip?
Jay's, yeah?
Well, Shirley bought another natural one.
Oh, my...
You know, the one that says Farmer Ferkley's Farm Fresh in a fancy foil package?
Robert, tell Shirley she's getting an arm and a leg when she doesn't have to.
An arm and a leg?
Jay's are made from fresh whole potatoes, corn and cottonseed oil and salt with no preservatives.
I'm getting dressed.
And most important, you don't have to pay a premium price for Jay's. Now, you tell her.
What hospital is she in?
Norm, shh. Also tell Shirley Jay's was a natural potato chip long before it was natural to be natural.
Tell them I'm on my way.
Right. Your father says he's on his way.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I appreciate it. Where's Dad going?
Not very far. He just put on my skirt and blouse.
Jay's, the natural potato chip, at a price you can afford, naturally.
Harry Carey back in the ballpark. It's all up to Torey Alba now.
Torey Alba comes on now with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and he's going to face a pinch hitter, Redmond. So, Harry, let's get him out.
Merv Redmond is the right-handed pinch hitter. Redmond hitting .269. The pitch. In there for a strike call at the knee. A fastball. 1 strike and nothing. Bases are loaded. 2 men are out. Ball game in the 8th. 4-4 tie. Here's the pitch. A little bit low, and the count is even, and the ball and a strike.
Those pitches died from exhaustion.
A ball and a strike. Torey Alba, who throws softly. On the sign. The pitch on the way. Here it is. High, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. This started with the first 2 men being retired. Then Grich drew a life on the air by Champas, and Barrios walked the next 2. Now Torey Alba. Here's the pitch. Ball 3. Torey Alba last night came into the ball game in this kind of a spot and walked Redmond. Now, with the bases loaded, 2 out, the count, 3 balls and a strike. A loose ball on the field. Mike Morris of the White Sox comes out of the dugout. Here's a pitch. Hey, Walker. There's Larry Doby coming out. That's the same thing he did in a game situation last night. With the White Sox ahead, 4-3, he was brought in to face 1 man, and he walked him.
Doby really hot. And now Luciano is saying something to him.
Luciano must be trying to get the game over with. He wants to get to the playoffs, I guess. And Larry Doby is angry, and rightly so. He comes out to talk to his pitcher and to make a pitching change, which he's entitled to do. And Luciano tried to rush him up. Boy, this argument is waxing hot and heavy. And Doby's getting his money's worth right here. He's got both hands crossed, both arms crossed over the chest, and his head bobbing down, up and down. Luciano is just trying to get the game over. We're going to have a new pitcher coming in. I guess Luciano didn't want him to make a pitching change.
What happened, he started to chew him out all the way from the dugout. And then when he got about halfway to the mound, he turned and said something to Luciano, and then Luciano went out to the mound to him. So I think it was because of all the jawing going on between Doby to the mound. And here comes Cusick now.
Torey Alba again in a game situation. Just doesn't get the ball over the plate. And now that forces in the go-ahead run, which could make Barrios the loser. Cusick taking a look at the scoreboard. Torey Alba trots off the field.
Cusick comes out with a record of 2-3. This will be his second relief job. He relieved the other day and did a good job. He gave up a home run to Baylor, but after that he settled down and got the side out in the last 2 innings. He has a record of 2-3 as the fans really boo Doby. Doby is jawing again with the home plate umpire, Luciano, and now he goes into the dugout. This will be his 10th appearance of the year. He has started 5. He's completed 3 games and has had 1 save. Pitched 51 innings, given up 42 hits, 23 runs, 19 of them earned. He's allowed 5 home runs, given up 27 bases on balls, and has struck out 29. He hasn't hit anybody, and he's had 1 wild pitch. Jack is getting a chance to see whether he can be a relief pitcher, and what I've seen of him so far, with that good hard fastball and that hard slider, boy, he could be awfully tough in late innings for us next year. And I think the experiment right now may be working out. Throws awfully hard. He stands about 6'2", weighs about 195 to 200 pounds, and he comes on with the Angels leading 5-4 here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the bases loaded.
Well, it came down to weather. Larry Doby wanted Jack Cusick to pitch to Ken Landau, or to have Torey Alba pitch to Redeman, because he knew, I'm sure, that Redeman would be a pinch hitter against a left-hander. He elected to have Torey Alba pitch against Redeman, which I think was more of a percentage for the Angels than Landreau, who's only hitting .223, batting against anybody. So, it's 5-4 in favor of the Angels. Carney Lansford, the batter, with the bases loaded. 3 walks and an error in this inning. They've scored the go-ahead run without getting a hit. That's the way the White Sox scored their first run off Nolan Ryan. Here's Jack Cusick getting ready to pitch. A little bit low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Ball game in the 8th. Now the delivery, here it is. Way outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. This crowd of 31,000 plus enjoying it. The White Sox fans who are here definitely not enjoying it. The pitch, ball 3. He's been nowhere near the plate, much like Torey Alba. Now it's a 3-0 count. Here's the stretch. Pitch on the way. There's a strike at the knees. 3 balls and a strike. Larry Doby was kicked out of the ball game. 3 balls and a strike to pitch. Strike 2 call. Slider over the outside corner. The runners will be going now with the pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 men out, bases loaded. 5-4 in favor of the Angels. Now the stretch, the pitch. He struck him out. So Jack Cusack, after falling behind 3-0, came back to fan him. 1 run though, no hits. 1 error, 3 left. At the end of 8, the Angels 5 and the White Sox 4.
McDonald.
1 run though, no hits. 1 error, 3 left. At the end of 8, the Angels 5 and the White Sox 4.
McDonald's Sundays will make you smile.
You're the one. I had a strawberry sundae, and I smiled. I really smiled. We want to get you smiling.
McDonald's is serving Sundays. Vanilla swirls covered with hot fudge, strawberry, or caramel.
You're the one.
Arnold, you're really smiling.
So I'm smiling.
But Arnold, you've never done that before.
Well, you never bought me a McDonald's sundae before.
At McDonald's,
You're smiling.
we got a smile for you.
The time is right. That feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's tastes like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another Stroh's. The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Harry Carey with Lauren Brown and Jimmy Pearsall as we go now into the top of the 9th. Nolan Ryan has gone all the way, trying to score his 10th victory of the year. Francisco Barrios is the pitcher of record at the moment. Boy, what a turnaround it was. 2 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 8th. Everything seemed to be hunky-dory. A tough chance that Harry Champas couldn't field cleanly, and they charge him with an error, which was really tough scoring. But then Barrios walked the next 2 men to fill the bases. Torrealba came in and walked the pinch hitter Redeman to force in the winning run, what appears to be the winning run. White Sox can still change that now. Here's Foley to lead it off. Fastball outside. White Sox have had only 4 hits, 4 runs. The pitch. There's a strike call. Boy, I imagine it's tough to see the ball with the shadow of the stands engulfing the entire infield. It's bright sunshine in center field and right. Everything else is streaked. Now the pitch. Swings and he fouls it out of play. 2 strikes and a ball. My good friend Frank O'Grady, who with Ralph Steinbarth owned the La Preferida Foods Company, watching the game here today. 2 strikes and a ball. Now the left-hand hitter waiting. The pitch on the way. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Foley trying to get on there. Champas will be next. Harry single to start that 3-run 8th. 5-4 in favor of the Angels. The pitch. Hey, struck him out. That's his 12th strikeout. Here's Champas. 1 away. Ralph Garr will be up there next. 5-4 in favor of the Angels. It's the 15th game between these 2 clubs. Each has won 7 so far. The Angels are leading in this, the 15th game. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out. Corny Lansford playing very shallow. There's a good fastball for a strike. A ball and a strike. 1 out. Here's the pitch. Swung and he missed. Strike 2. Nolan Ryan coming to the wire like the thoroughbred he is. He struck out Squires to end the 8th inning with his 11th strikeout. There's a pitch low to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out. Harry Champas at the plate. All 5 feet 3 inches of him. Weighing 145 pounds. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball up the middle, might get through there. Good play by Bobby Grich. The throw. Safe. He beat it. Was beat out at infield roller, and boy, Bobby Grich made a tremendous play, and Ron Jackson, the first baseman, did an adagio split to get that ball as quickly as he could, and they made it bang, bang, but Champas beat it.
Boy, what a play. Grich had to go almost to the other side of the bag and threw across his body, but the little guy, as he got towards the bag, picked up a little more speed and beat it by a step.
So that gives him 2 out of 4 against Nolan Ryan. I guess the hardest throwing pitcher in baseball. Here's Gar. White Sox aren't dead yet.
How about a home run?
The season is still alive. White Sox trying for their 72nd victory of the year. Last year they won 90. So they fell off the pace by 18 games. Now the sign. Gar's hitless today. Champas the lead. Now the pitch. Curveball low and outside, ball 1. Gar's hit 3 homers this year. Now Nolan Ryan's pitch. Here it is. Low and outside. Ball 2. Now the signal given. The pitch. Oh, a weak swing and he fouled it back. I don't think he really meant to swing. Gar hit his first home run of the year on April the 11th. He hit his second home run of the year the next day, April the 12th. So since April, he's hit only 1 home run. Like they say, like the governor of North Carolina said to the governor of South Carolina, sure a long time between drinks. Here's a pitch. High, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. 1 man out.
You know, Ryan's pitched a long time. You never think this game would bother him, but right now he is reaching and throwing as hard as he can.
This ball game going on to the 3-hour mark. 3 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Hey, walked in. The tying run is at second base. The go-ahead run is at first base. Only 1 man out. We're going to have a pinch hitter here for Pryor. Ron Blomberg. Blomberg will pinch hit. Blomberg hitting .232, 5 homers, 22 RBI.
Gee, you know, Ron gets all the easy pitches to hit off of. He doesn't get to play very much, but when he does, it's somebody that really brings it. But he's a good fastball hitter.
Cordell Washington will be next, so the White Sox still have a shot at him.
And with Blomberg stepping up, a reminder to wish all of our Jewish friends a Happy New Year.
Is that today?
I believe so. Today or tomorrow?
You're up
tomorrow.
You're up on everything, Lord.
Tomorrow's. We won't be on the air tomorrow, so I thought we better pass it on today.
I have trouble with our own New Year.
I have trouble with New Year's Eve.
All right, the discussion goes on. Jim Fregosi wants Nolan Ryan to finish this ball game. Pats him on the back. And here's Bloomberg now. Oh, for a long one. Bloomberg is known as a fastball hitter.
Dave Frost is warming up in the bullpen for California.
So we'll have Bloomberg and Washington, both hopefully coming up in the inning.
LaRoche is always up. He's up there now.
7 2/3 innings, allowed 9 hits, 5 runs, of which 4 were earned, 1 home run.
Now the first pitch.
2 strikeouts.
Fastball over the outside corner, a strike call. Bloomberg didn't like it. Runners at first and second, 1 away. Ball game in the top of the ninth. The Angels are leading 5-4. Now the signal given. Here's the pitch. Wide, ball 1. That evens it up at a ball and a strike. We're in the ninth. The Angels got the tie-breaking run on the 7th without a hit. Runners at first and second. Ryan's pitch, here it is. Way outside, ball 2. An off-speed curveball. 2 balls and a strike. Nolan Ryan walks around that mound. Now gets back on the rubber. 2 balls and a strike. Tying run at second. Go-ahead run at first. Now the stretch, the pitch. Ball 3, almost threw it away. Hey, what? Champa thought it was ball 4. He's caught in a trap. Holy cow. He's tagged out. Champa's lost track of the count. On ball 3, he started walking to third base. And he is still down on his knees now. Bobby Knopf comes over. And Bobby says probably it goes like this, Harry. 1, 2, 3, 4. He just lost track of the count. The play is from Brian Downing to the shortstop to Carney Lansford.
Harry, that's a very embarrassing situation that happens to a lot of players.
Boy, Harry, little Harry naturally feels terrible about it. 3 balls and a strike. I think they got Mullenix now playing shortstop. So Bloomberg, Gar went to second on the play. Swings and he missed it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Harry Chapas with a count 3-1 on Bloomberg. On ball 3, began walking towards third base, thinking it was ball 4. 3 balls, 2 strikes. They're all up on their feet here, trying to cheer Nolan Ryan on. 3-2 pitch. Here it is. Hey, struck him out. The ball game is over. The Angels are finishing a tie for second place, and the White Sox have lost their 90th game of the year. And the way this game was lost here in the 9th inning is just so typical of the season. We'll be back with the totals and highlights in a moment.
Hello, sports fans. Wilkinson Smith here with Marv the Mountain Sweeney, one of the players in the Illinois Lottery's touchdown game. So you're starting today, Marv. The old knee's back in shape?
No, actually, Wilk, as you can see, I'm still on crutches.
Oh, yes, but you're starting anyway. What keeps you going, Marv? Sheer love of the game?
No, actually, Wilk, it's sheer love of those $5,000 prizes.
I see. But does a man on crutches really have a chance out there?
Oh, sure, Wilk. See, for this touchdown game, they split the usual $1 million prize into lots of smaller prizes. So the chances of winning cash are actually better than in any weekly game ever. And there's also a special extra point bonus prize. Thousands of them every week.
Well, it's time you got down to the field, Marv. Any advice for the fans on this touchdown game?
Sure, Wilk. Fans, all kinds of players are scoring in the lottery's touchdown game. One of them's going to be me, and another should be you.
Watch those stairs, Marv. A real competitor, fans. A real competitor.
Harry Carey back in Anaheim. They're giving this team a standing ovation. And everybody, all their players are really enjoying it, coming out, waving their cap to these fans. This is the winningest team in the history of the California Angels. They won their 87th victory of the year. They had never won more than 86. They finished in a second-place tie, the first time they've ever finished that high. They finished 5 games out of first place. That's the closest they've ever been to first place. Now some of the many gifts that are going to be given away are being wheeled onto the field. This is their Fan Appreciation Day. Here are the totals: 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the California Angels. Nolan Ryan goes all the way. He finishes the season with 260 strikeouts. He fanned 13 here today. Ryan now is 110 and lost 13. For the White Sox, 4 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. Barrios is the loser. He now is 110 and lost 14 for this season. So, the American League standings in the Western Division are complete. Kansas City finishes first. California and Texas finish in a tie for second. Minnesota's fourth. The White Sox fifth. Oakland is sixth. Seattle seventh. In the Eastern Division, either the Yankees or the Red Sox, whomever wins tomorrow, will finish first. Whomever loses will finish second. Milwaukee third. Baltimore fourth. Detroit fifth. Cleveland sixth. And Toronto seventh. And in the National League, it's the Dodgers, Cincinnati, the Giants, San Diego, Houston, and Atlanta in that order in the West. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, the Cubs, Montreal, St. Louis, and New York in that order in the East. Well, that's it. A long and eventful season. Not as exciting as you'd like it to be, although exciting enough. And a lot of great ball games to talk about. So many times this season, the White Sox went into the 8th and 9th innings, leading only to lose the ball game. That's 35 games that you very easily could have, if not should have won. So it gives you an idea that it wasn't really as bad as the standings might indicate. Well, it was a ball club that no time this year, except for that one stretch of 19 games, showed the consistency that you would expect. And as a matter of fact, other than that one stretch, which brought them within 2.5 games of first place, they were never once in contention. So, there are a lot of young ball players who showed up these final weeks, and one of the most outstanding ones turned out to be perhaps the GOAT today, and that would be Harry Chaffetz. But all cannot be peaches and cream. There has to be a little bit of vinegar in life, no matter what it might be and whom it might be. Looking ahead now to next year, as they're going to have a Christmas in October here at the Big A in Anaheim. There are boats and whatever being wheeled out, automobiles. But now this season is over. To the sponsors who brought the White Sox games your way, our appreciation. I know we're speaking here for Bert Sherwood and his staff at WMAQ, who appreciate the cooperation of the White Sox Ball Club, as well as the interest of the various sponsors without whom there would not be any White Sox baseball. And the three of us up here are grateful to you and to them and only wish that it could have been a more eventful year on the field. But I think what's happened to the Angels this year is something that will give hope to everybody. A year ago, they were nothing. This year, they fought a good race, and they were the final team to be eliminated in the American League West. That's how quickly it can be done if a couple of your ball players will come through for you. Jimmy, Lauren?
Harry, I just want to say that I think that next year with a lot of these young ball players that I'm looking at down the line with Wortham, Trout, Proley, Cusick, Baumgarten, Torres is a veteran who's come up and showed that he can help our ball club against left-handers. Pryor, who is going to be probably the best utility man in the American League. Foley, a left-handed hitting catcher that we've needed desperately. Colburn, a young man that every time you watch him, he seems to get better. And Bell, who at third base, with his legs seeming to be stronger in the last week or so of the season, had played very well. I think it's a great indication that the White Sox will be better next year. Certainly we will not make the same mistakes we made this year. I think when we start things off with whoever's managing, it'll be a different situation with better fundamentals and make the club look a lot better.
Harry, like you, I wish it would have been a lot more productive season on the field. Certainly it was at the gate. The White Sox fans are to be commended for their tremendous support. With the exception of a rainout against Baltimore at home, this club would have drawn over 1.5 million. I personally feel, I don't have any basis of fact in saying this, but I personally feel, it's my gut feeling, that the White Sox are going to be doing a lot of wheeling and dealing with some of the veteran players. Hopefully we'll get the right ingredients to go along with the youngsters that they have in the organization, especially this fine young crop of pitchers. So I look for a lot of activity in the winter.
You know, speaking of veteran players, if we might encroach on his time for just a moment, before Eric Soderholm starts his Hot Corner show. Eric, as one of the stars of this ball club, and I guess going into the season, the leader of the ball club, your feeling about what has happened and what might happen.
Well, it was really, I think, a disastrous season. Bill said that in the middle of the season when we started the second half. And I agree with him. We really thought we had a lot of talent in spring training. Maybe having too many people in spring training hurt us more than helped us, but we did find a lot of young, good players out of that deal. And the season we just could not put it together somehow. We've shown a lot of good young pitching here at the end. And hopefully with a few changes, I don't think a great deal of changes, but with a few in a few key spots and get rid of some so-called bad attitude people on the club, I think this ball club can turn it around and be a contending ball club next season.
I thought it typified the kind of year it's been. The way we were taken out of the ninth inning here today, and here's a kid who's just been absolutely sensational, Harry Chappas, and he just proved he's a mortal human being, too, by forgetting that it takes four balls rather than three to constitute a walk.
Well, what happened in that particular situation was Ron Luciano, he's a great umpire. I love the man. He's a good umpire, but he was having a rough day behind the plate. I think it was very difficult to see the ball at the plate today, and Ryan was bringing it up there, really fast. And I think he was not only fooling the hitters, but fooling Ron, too, because he was making some bad calls. And the first pitch on the last batter in the inning, or I forget who it was, was a ball. But he called it a strike, and Chappas didn't see where he called it a strike, and he thought that pitch was a ball. So he just assumed that was ball 4, and he started walking to third base. And that I think it's not so much, it's Harry's fault, of course, for not looking up on the board, but I think partially you got to kind of blame the umpire today, because I think Ron did not have a real good day behind the plate.
Eric, you finished strongly. What's your future? With the White Sox or what?
Well, I hope so, Harry. I'd like to stay with the ball club. I feel like I've made a home in Chicago. We bought a home in Chicago, matter of fact, and I'm finally settled. In my long baseball career, I finally am settled in an area, and I just hope that I can finish out my career in Chicago. But you never know. I'm sure that nobody is beyond tradable on our club, and there's a very good chance that maybe I'll get traded, but I really hope not. I'd like to stay.
Okay, Eric, thank you very much. Eric will be coming along with this Hot Corner show in just a moment. Well, that about does it now. Another season, and I will say up here in the booth, between Lauren and Jimmy and myself, we've enjoyed it. We have our differences, and we don't agree on what should happen, what shouldn't be done on the field. But
I always look forward to getting there the next day because they're great fellows to work with. And I know that up here, everything that we possibly could do, every energy that was at our command, we expended doing the very best job that we possibly could do within the limitations of our particular talent. So, for your cooperation, men, thank you very much. Jimmy, have a good winter.
Same to you. Thanks, Coach.
Lauren, you too.
Okay, Harry.
And that now does it. Now this is Harry Carey. And we could hardly close off a broadcast without thanking our engineer, because if we don't treat him with kindness and if we don't lavish him with praise, he just turns one of those little dials and nobody ever hears us at all. Many times this season people have said to me, hey, we didn't hear you guys for an inning or so. And then I remembered we had said something rather caustic about Hozak, and this is his way for having his revenge. So for everybody at WMAQ, for Lauren Brown and for Jimmy Pearsall, this is Harry Carey wishing you all a very pleasant good afternoon or good evening, as the case might be, ringing down the curtain and looking forward to the 1979 year that might be the one that'll see the White Sox in the same state of hysteria that I'm sure exists right at this moment in Boston and in New York. We'll be playing it out tomorrow, the winner winning the title. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to have something like that happen to us while we're all around to enjoy it. Hope you enjoy the season. For our many sponsors, for the station's personnel headed by Bert Sherwood, Harry Carey saying so long, God bless you, have a good winter, and listen to this message. Bye-bye.
All right, sure is a crowded flight. Yeah, say, would you mind moving your foot? Well, that's not my foot. That belongs to the guy sitting by the window. It does? Yeah, those are my feet over there in front of him. You see with the loafers? Oh, yeah, nice loafers. Sir, excuse me, would you mind moving? He's asleep. Well, could you shake him for me? Why don't you shake him? I can't move my arms.
Flying coach on most airlines can be pretty crowded in these days of discount fares, but on Continental, regular coach has its own seating area. We don't jam discount passengers into coach. In fact, we're working harder than ever to give the coach passenger the treatment that he's paying for. More room, better meals, less crowding, and a better choice of seats right up to the last minute. Before your next business trip, call Continental or your travel agent.
Stewardess?
Yes?
How can I eat my soup? I can't move here.
I'll get you a straw, sir.
If you can't find Continental, who's gonna lose their cab for you?
For a copy of their Colorado Flat Drive brochure, call your travel agent or Continental.
To get a car that rides with class, see Dick McFeely Pontiac.
Stop the music. Hold everything. Dick McFeely Pontiac is having the sale. Not just a sale, the sale you've been waiting for. You see, Dick McFeely just bought 100 brand new Pontiacs from another dealer. And he bought them right. And you can too. Dick McFeely Pontiac's got a whole rainbow of colors in stock for immediate delivery. Bonneville, Grand Prix, Le Mans, Phoenix, Firebird, Sunbird, AM, FMs, 8-tracks, sunroofs, power windows. The options are endless. And so are the savings at Dick McFeely Pontiac.
5300 North Broadway. And once you're there, you'll say, okay. Just come on out to a wide track at Dick McFeely Pontiac.
Hi again, everybody. Lauren Brown back at Anaheim with the Eric Soderholm Hot Corner Show here after the Angels won it 5-4. If you've been with us, Eric talking with Harry, giving some of his views. He has other views to pass on. But as we promised, an Eric Soderholm Hot Corner Show would not be complete without a poem. And today, the poem has been written by none other than Eric Soderholm.
Well, thank you. I wish I could say this is a great poem, but it's not. I threw it together this morning, figuring that there could be no other way to